Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So look, if you got a question about what it is that you're trying to do on YouTube or what it is that you're currently doing on YouTube, there's a form down in the description of this live stream or the replay right now, but this is more for the live stream. So if you're watching on the replay, you can go ahead and skip this part, but put your questions in the form there because I'm answering them in the order that they are received. I'm going to be jumping into the chat here a little bit later, but for the first part of this, we are going to be pulling these from the show. And I do want to let you know that if you are watching this on the replay, we share tons of YouTube related information here. And the whole thing is driven by the questions that people ask during the stream. So because of that, there's going to be tons of stuff in here for you that's going to help you with what it is that you're doing in your YouTube channel. So make sure that you skip around and you just listen to little chunks of it. And I guarantee you that you're going to walk away with something that is of value to you that will help you with what it is that you are doing on YouTube. So with that out of the way, I just want to say what's up to everybody. Hope that you are doing fantastic. Hope that you have had a great week so far. Hope everything just has been awesome for you. I also want to let you know that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, the #1 browser plugin for YouTube content creators. If you are a YouTuber, this tool is made for you. You can try it free at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin. And this stream is co-sponsored by StreamYard, which is what I use to live stream this every single Saturday. It's the easiest live streaming service that you'll ever use. You can give them a shot at StreamYard.com. StreamYard makes it easy to bring in guests, to add graphics to your videos, and just to have a professional live stream without your computer having to do much work. So make sure that you check out StreamYard at StreamYard.com. So, like I said before, man, I hope everybody's having an awesome day. Hope everybody has had an awesome week. Hope that you have, gotten some gains on your YouTube channel from when we met up last week at this time. So really quick, I just want to say, if you are, watching this right now, feel free to share this out on Twitter. Let people know that we are live. I didn't schedule this ahead like I normally do. I just scheduled it barely ahead. So I'm not sure on notifications and things like that, but I just want to let you know that it would be appreciated if you would share this out on Twitter, let people know that we are rocking and rolling right now. Jeff, what's up? Hope you're doing great. Shark Scrapper, what's going on? Ash Borland, what's up, my dude? Baking with Charlene, what is going on? Space Turtle, Shark Scrapper, Adoption with Nairi, what is going on? Happy to see everybody here today. So the first question that we are going to answer, because we're just going to get right into this now. The first question that we are going to answer today is from Ruditude Production and AKA Anakin Ketchum. And the type of channel that Anakin has is they do skits and stop motion, but they're currently branching out to do more animations and stuff. The goal of the channel is to grow, so one day I can maybe meet some of my favorite creators like Man TV, who is a Pokemon YouTuber. And my question is, how should I handle other social medias? For example, I'm currently uploading short skits made for TikTok, and they're doing well. And I'm wondering if I should link my channel with TikTok. Also, what are some other good social medias to use? Thank you very much. Have a great day. Have a bagel and a coffee. Wear a mask for safety purposes. Okay, so here's the thing. How many people here have multiple social media accounts? Like, how many people are like, hey, I've got YouTube, I've got Instagram, I've got Twitter, I've got TikTok, I've got, all the stuff. But there's a big but on this one. Not a big but, but you know what I mean. So on this one, but how many of you are actively using all of those platforms all of the time? Let me know that. If you're actively, like every day, you're putting up content, somewhere, you're just constantly, just pushing out content to all these different platforms. If that's you, just give me a me in the comments. So we got some in here. Okay, so we've got some in here. So the thing that I want to bring to your attention when it comes to other social media platforms, especially if you're just getting started on YouTube or any social media platform, if you're just getting started with all of this stuff, one thing that can be really advantageous for you is to get good at something before you try to do all of the things, right? Because the general best practices in terms of getting people to respond to the content that you're putting out, make content that people enjoy and that you keep them watching for longer and that they interact with more and all that stuff, that's a universal thing. All these platforms, they all want you to keep people on platform. They all want you to, give their users an awesome experience with whatever content it is that you put up there, or keep their users engaged in what it is that you're doing. So because of that, once you learn one, you can apply that to the other ones as well. And you can grow those, slowly or fast or, whatever. But the idea is when you're trying to learn, okay, I got to learn how to grow this, and then I got to learn how to grow this, and then I got to learn how to grow this, and I got to learn how to get views over here, and I got to learn how to get likes over here, and I got to learn how to get people to my page over here and all of that, then it can be really overwhelming because you're trying to learn 1,000 different things at one time instead of really just saying, you know what? let me get really good at this particular thing so that I can, so that I can nail this. And then as I'm growing my following here, I'm going to have the other social media platforms. And for those, I'll post stuff from time to time or all the time, depending on what it is that you're doing or how much time that you have. But it's like, hey, I'm going to post some stuff over here, but I'm really going to focus on YouTube, or I'm really going to focus on TikTok, or I'm really going to focus on Instagram so that I can get that rolling. Because I'm sure you've heard the analogy where it goes something like this about, when you have the magnifying glass, right? And you're trying to catch something, on fire, right? You're trying to get it going, and you have that magnifying glass. And if you just take the sun beaming through it and you just focus it really, really hard on, one thing, then, the chances of that thing, catching fire, getting going is going to be pretty high. However, if you take that magnifying glass and you're moving it all over the place, right? You're like, hey, let's shine it on this for a while. Let's shine it on this over here for a while. Let's shine it on this over here for a while. What you can end up with in that situation is just a bunch of, half-baked stuff all over the place. So when you start focusing on like, hey, I'm going to learn it here. And then if I decide to use those other ones, I can. Or if I decide to focus over there and then do YouTube later, I can do that too. But, just focusing on getting something rolling so that you can use that as the main thing that can also help you grow the other things that you will be growing in the future. That's one approach that you can take. But the reason I should say that I'm explaining that approach is because it's really easy for us as content creators. And this happens to me all the time. I'm actually going through it right now. It's real easy for us content creators to take on like a lot of stuff, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to make videos for this. I'm going to do audio for this. I'm going to make, little short clips over here. I'm going to do this over here. Plus you got all the stuff that you're doing on the back end. And for those of you that are in school or that have jobs, like for you guys, then that whole thing is even bigger in terms of all the stuff that you have to do. So because of that, it's just good for your mental health to be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to, make sure that I'm focusing on, the thing that's the most important to me and for what it is that I'm trying to accomplish with this internet stuff. And I'm going to focus on that, get that rolling. And then I will, start branching out into the other things. But if you do take that approach, some people can handle it. Some people can do all the things. I'm personally not one of those people. I tend to try to do too much. And then because of that, I end up in a situation where I'm like, can't keep up with everything. So I either need to hire somebody to help me. What's worth it for somebody to help me? What's not worth it for somebody to help me and all that. So then sometimes I'll just leave stuff. Like I haven't updated my Instagram in probably 6 months because I'm not really interested in Instagram. However, when I do get interested, I'll have little pockets of time where I'll upload there and then I'll just stop because I'll just forget to open the app one day and then I won't open it, on the additional days either. So because of that, just from my experience, I'm just sharing that it can be really difficult to try to do all the things, especially if you're just getting started. So because of that, just pick one or two that are the most important to you and try to focus on those. So I hope that answered your question there, Ruditude. But really quick though, just as a heads up, when you are, I forgot to grab my my switcher thing. But when you are doing that, you want to also consider, for those of you that can, you have that output or you have teams that help you or whatever, then, then it makes sense. But if you're just getting started, there's so much to learn with all of this stuff that it makes it really, really difficult.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right, I had to get my Stream Deck. Oh, there we go. I had to get my Stream Deck over here. I forgot to bring it over for the stream today. Two things I forgot. One, my Stream Deck. Two, I forgot to put the books down here that I normally put back here as well. Jeff,
Super Chat.
Thank you for the Super Chat. Says, in Nimmin VIP, someone shared a screenshot of a thumbnail analyzer. What are some of the best ones? Do they work? TubeBuddy is a great A/B tester. They have A/B testing software built into TubeBuddy. And it's not in the actual browser plugin itself. You have to go to the TubeBuddy website in order to access it. And they are awesome. Absolutely awesome. And the reason for that is because what happens is TubeBuddy will swap the thumbnails out. It's not like for every user, it's basically like a period of time, like, a day, and then it'll swap it out for a day and then back for a day. And the really cool thing with it is it will start to tell you, hey, when people are seeing your videos on the homepage, this thumbnail performs better. When people are seeing, this thumbnail on next to suggested videos, this one performs better. When it's on coming up in YouTube search, this one performs better. It's really cool. So you know what? I'll actually show you. Here, give me a minute. I don't need like a whole minute, so to speak, but I'm actually going to pull this up and I'll just show it to you, Jeff. But other things that they have inside of there when it comes to thumbnails specifically is they have the click magnet. And with the click magnet, the cool thing there, come on, where's my sign in button? With the click magnet, the cool thing there is it analyzes your thumbnails. It goes through all of your thumbnails and it's like, hey, these are the thumbnails that have, that have close-ups of your face. And this is how they perform against thumbnails that don't have close-ups of your face. This is thumbnails where you have multiple faces. These are thumbnails where you have, certain amounts of text or where you have text or no text, all kinds of things like that. So hold on, I gotta get my two-factor ready here. Give me 1 second. And then I will go into here. So basically the one that I'm testing right now, just to share this with you guys, the one that I'm testing right now is this mobile video that I put up. So with this particular one, like just the general stats on that particular video are not that great. So I'm like, hey, let's start with the thumbnail, see if we can kind of jazz it up that way. And one of the things that I'm getting here, it was up a little higher yesterday, but it's down now. So there's not a huge difference on this one yet. But let me share this screen really quick, Jeff, and I'll show you exactly what this looks like. Let's see here. Let me go to window. But yeah, this is just abysmal for this moment in time. So after this test is done and I figure out the winner here, I'm going to test it again and try to find another one. But basically you can see here the different information that it gives you. Here, let me spread this out a little bit so you can see it better. There we go. But you can see the different information that it gives you here. So it shows you like how much, watch time per impression from the original versus the variation, how many impressions that you're getting, the click-through rate, the original versus the variation, how many daily impressions, daily clicks that you're getting. But here's where it also gets cool is they show you just the general average view duration between the two. And then they're also showing you down here, like in search, this one performs better. The variant performs better, suggested the variant performs better, and browse, the variant also performs better, but it's not a ton better. Yesterday when I checked in on this one, it was around like 3, a little over 3. So it was a little bit better in that situation, but this one, the result is so low on this one that I'm going to have to end up doing a completely different thumbnail to see if I can get this one to change up. But basically with this, it just helps you test the thumbnails and you can get data based on, where it's showing your thumbnails on the platform and how people are responding on each of those different surfaces. So this can be really valuable. So like, for example, how you would use this. And by the way, you guys can get this if you go to TubeBuddy.com/Nimmin. You'll have access to this. This is part of their Legend package, by the way, which is the higher tier package. But, if you're wanting to test your thumbnails, then of course, you would need to get that. But basically, one of the things that you would want to use this for is, let's say that you notice some of your content that, you have high watch time on that content, or the average view duration on that content is high, either for that particular video or high compared to other videos, but the video just isn't doing that great. So what you would want to do in that situation, if we just unpack this thing a little bit, what you'd want to do in that situation is you'd want to say, okay, well, in this case, I'm like, when people do click on it, they're enjoying it. Like, they're watching it for a fair amount of time. They're commenting on it. They're, further engaging in that content. So the content itself is okay, but I'm like, the way that people are clicking on this isn't high. So why is that? It could be your thumbnail, it could be your title, or it could just be the topic in general. So one of the things that you have to consider, like in that example, is the topic itself. So even though there's a ton of mobile content creators out there, them being able to get into deep analytics from their phone, well, I mean, a lot of people don't really care about that. There's a lot of people that do, but a lot of people don't really care about that. So the thumbnail, I'm going to keep working on it, but the topic itself could be the thing that's actually hurting that particular video. So what you would want to do is you'd want to say, okay, is it the topic of this? If I don't think it's the topic, if it's a strong topic, and topics like that typically perform well on the channel, like if it was a get views video for me, then in that situation, I'd be like, hey, the watch time's good on this, but people just aren't responding to it on the front end. So therefore, I'm going to go through and I'm going to do some testing on the thumbnail so that I can make sure that, that I'm giving myself the best possible edge here in this situation. So hopefully that made sense for you, Jeff. And since you're in the group, feel free to ask any additional questions in there. If you need screenshots or anything like that, just let me know. So Power Up, thank you for the super chat. Says, I got TubeBuddy Legend yesterday using your link. How long would you say is reasonable when testing out a new title before deciding to change it? I wouldn't change titles too much. I would commit to your title, and I would experiment with thumbnails more. So if you experiment with thumbnails and you find that your thumbnail itself, if you find that, hey, I'm doing these tests and, like I just can't get this thing to move hardly any, like in the situation that you just saw with mine, right? Because that's the first test that I'm running on it. If I do a completely different thumbnail, because that's just a minor test, sometimes those will increase. But when you just do a drastic change in the thumbnail, that's where, you can really make, a huge impact. However, what you want to think about is testing the thumbnail is one thing, because when you're testing the thumbnail, you're just changing the image, right? When you change the title, you're actually changing the context of what that video might be about, right? So in terms of the system, YouTube, like when you change the title, then you could be changing like who that gets served to, or you could be changing just the context of the system understanding what that video is about. So because of that, I would test the titles very limited, if at all, and only if you test the thumbnails a lot. If your retention's great, but you're not getting clicks, and you test your thumbnail a lot and just nothing that you're doing is causing any difference whatsoever, then you might want to consider messing with the title in that situation. But if you're getting a lot of views, could you say how long is reasonable? If you're getting a lot of views, and by a lot of views, I mean, like, let's say you're getting, 1,000 or, 5,000 views a video, then in that case, if you're getting that within a reasonable amount of time, let's say, 4 days, then you can test it over the course of that 4 days. If you're getting, a lot of views, technically you could do this over the course of 2 days, or again, 4 days. But if your views are coming in really slow, then in that case, let's say it takes you 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get to 1,000 views on your video, then in that case, you'd want to let that run for a while. But one little thing that I can tell you is, while it's running, you can go into TubeBuddy and you can go into your click-through rate for the video. I'll show you. I'll show you right now. We're getting nerdy in this stream today, but here, yeah, I'll show you right now. Actually, I'll show you what it looks like. So right now, based on what it looks like, I'm confident that I could switch to the variant. I'm just giving it a little bit more time because I just want more data behind it. Because I don't want to make a rash decision. But here, I'll show you here in this situation. Let me go to my click-through rate on this. Make sure that I'm not exposing anything here that would get me in trouble in any way. Okay. So yeah, so like in this one, you can see here. Oops. Share screen. Window would be this one. Okay. So in this one, you can see here, like my watch time is bad on this one, which by itself, can limit the video. But you can see when that thumbnail is getting swapped back and forth, you can actually see it right here. So like, to me, this is like, okay, every time it switches to the variant, then I'm getting that spike. So by default, I'm assuming that the variant is going to just be hands down the winner, but I'm just giving it more time to make sure that the decision that I'm going to make on that thumbnail, that it's statistically significant before I go ahead and, and say, yeah, this is what I'm going to go with. So as you're testing, though, you can, like, if you're getting, a lot of traffic to that video, then you can test it and you can see it there, and you can see the results inside of TubeBuddy as you're testing. So if you notice, because that difference is such a small difference in my case, that's why I'm like, yeah, I got to keep working on that one. But if you notice, like, hey, I'm getting a huge lift, when it switches and then it drops back down when it goes the other one, then in that case, if that is consistently happening, then you might want to just go ahead and make the commitment on the one that's causing that huge lift in comparison. That's the approach that I take anyway with myself and clients in the past. So, it's worked for me. So that's the approach that I recommend. Let's see here. So Mills Outdoors
Superchat
says, thank you. A person can get overwhelmed making videos all the time. Today might be a day to rest from YouTube. Yeah. Like making videos and all that stuff, just like anything else, it takes time and takes like everything. Hey, thanks, Blissful Zen ASMR. But, like making videos and doing this whole thing, it takes time, just like, just like anything else, like anytime that you're putting time on one thing, you're sacrificing times of that, time that you could be doing other things. And those other things could be productive things, or those things could be like just sitting on the sofa looking at your phone if you want to. Right. So, sometimes, you just need to, let your brain just kind of, chill out a little bit and just chill on the sofa and, look at a phone. Sometimes that's required. So because of that, absolutely, taking your time in some cases, or giving yourself the space and making it okay to, kind of take a day or two and just kind of chill out a little bit. It's definitely a win. Hey, Renee, what's up, man? Hope you're doing awesome. So let's see here. I do speak fast. Absolutely. Without question. I do speak fast. That is a comment that I've heard for a very long time in my life experience here. Let's see here. So Traveling Man says just hit over 100 subscribers. What changes? So in terms of things that change when you hit 100 subscribers, nothing, with the exception of you now are going to be eligible for a custom URL for your YouTube channel. And what that means is a custom URL is, if you were to look for my YouTube channel, if you were to go to youtube.com/Nick Nimmin, that /Nick Nimmin part is my custom URL. And it basically solidifies your name for your YouTube channel. So in your case, it's Traveling Man. So if nobody else has Traveling Man, then you could do youtube.com/Traveling Man. But if somebody has that, then you're going to have to come up with something clever that would, that will be unique to you, so that you can, if you have like a web address that you want to redirect to it, or if you, share it on your blog or website or descriptions or anywhere that anybody else shares it with that it's just easy to remember. And it's not just a big long string of letters and numbers like you'll run into if you just look at the actual channel, the channel URL itself. Let's see here. But in terms of YouTube, it doesn't get easier, after 100 subscribers or anything like that. Like, it's all the same. Like, the only difference is that, along the way of getting 100 subscribers, you learn a lot and you create videos. So the process of creating videos, you learn a lot during that, reaching all these different milestones. The milestones themselves are not what makes anything happen. The things that you learn and the things that you pick up and the things that you start and the things that you experiment with on your channel that work and things like that, those are the things that help, accelerate things on your channel. In addition to that, when you first start on YouTube, you don't have a content library yet, right? It's just like, you don't have a content library yet. It's just like, you doing your thing. And you have, like one video or 5 videos on your channel. But by the time you get 100 subscribers, you might have, 10 videos on your channel. So because of that, you have, a few people that are coming into each one of those videos every day. So the perception like, hey, I got 100 subscribers. Now things are starting to speed up a little bit. Or I got 1,000 subscribers. Now things are starting to speed up a little bit. That perception can come into play because people don't consider that in order to get to 1,000 subscribers, in a lot of cases, you have, enough content that is continually getting views, so that you, or at least a good piece of content, one good video that's bringing in enough views to where, when you start publishing new content, then you have those people that are already interacting with your channel that YouTube will show your content to as a test to see if they'll click on it and things like that. So, so the milestone itself doesn't do anything except get you a URL. However, the process of getting 100 subscribers, the stuff you learn and creating that video archive, those are the things that, will help accelerate things for you. Vigard says, I speak too slow according to some comments on my video, but it's just someone's opinion. Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Yeah. Like, that's my thing. And that's the glory of YouTube, is for all of us, for everybody here who's had a comment like that. Just say me, if you have, but if you had a comment where somebody's like, hey, you speak too fast, you speak too slow, or you should, explain things this way or that way. If you've had one of those comments, just say me. I'm just curious, because I know that goes around a lot. And one thing that I want to tell you is that there's, you're going to get tons of feedback on your YouTube channel. Always use data to make all of your decisions on what it is that you're doing, right? And you're never going to please everybody. So just embrace that and be like, hey, you know what? I'm never going to please everybody. That's cool. I'm not even worried about pleasing everybody. I'm just going to do my thing, and I'm going to connect with the people that respond positively to what it is that I'm doing. Of course, I'm going to take the feedback, and I'm going to look at what it is that I'm doing and say, wow, maybe I do speak too fast. But if that's how you just operate anyway, then, do you. And then the people that, can handle the speed of your speech, be it fast or slow, those people that enjoy that, or that just, can pick it up or whatever, those people will resonate with with you. So, for example, there's the complete opposite of how I communicate is Curtis Judd. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Curtis Judd. If you are, just let me know. He's an awesome content creator. He focuses more on audio, but he's just like, his audio is just amazing. Everybody should be watching Curtis Judd if you're trying to figure out how to improve the audio on your YouTube videos. Him and Mike Russell, you'll learn so much off of those two channels, but it's Curtis Judd. But anyway, in terms of how we communicate, he's completely opposite of me. I'm, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes if my energy is there, I'm like, I'm a little bit more animated. I might be a little bit more animated, or I might be, just talk fast. With him, he's very composed. Every word that comes out of his mouth it comes across. I don't know if it is, but it comes across as intentional. And, he's very well spoken and, very authoritative in how he communicates and all that stuff, just all the way around. He communicates in a great way. But even though I enjoy content where people, are kind of, a little bit, over the top a little. I also really resonate with Curtis Judd, just because like if I want to learn something from him, I go there, and just the way that he explains things makes sense to me, regardless if he speaks fast or slow, but I find his content soothing to me. Hey, Neil. What's up, man? Hope you're doing great. What's up, Natalia? Okay, so next up on our list here, congratulations, JPFF Gaming, on the 1,000 or the 100 subscribers. Okay, so next up on our list, let's jump back into the forum here. We have Pieces to Props. Pieces to Props says they've been on YouTube for less than a year. They make their content on a Samsung Note 10 type of channel. I make props from popular movies, anime, and video games. And let's see here. The goal of the channel is to make a community of fellow crafters, entertain people, and most of all, have fun doing it. Also, a little bit of money is nice. Question. Hey, Nick, I saw your video the other day. I was wondering if I make merch, as in t-shirts, how many designs would you recommend I have before I open a Teespring store? Sorry for all my normal long-winded questions. I'll go easy on you this week. I love everything you do, and I learned a ton. I also became a member a week ago. Nice. Awesome. So make sure, if you didn't already, that you are in the channel, the VIP membership area there on Facebook. Awesome community that we have over there. We live stream over there every week. But in terms of the merch, you can start with one. If you want, you can start with, 5 or 10. If you have, let's say 5 or 6, then you're going to fill out that shelf underneath your videos. So because of that, if you have the merch shelf, then, just fill out that merch shelf with a few options if you want to do that. Also consider, drop your logo in there for the people that are wanting to do that, drop something there, but also think about, okay, the people that are, who here does merch from your YouTube channel? Just give me a me or, merch, anything like that, just to help me identify. If you do merch from your YouTube channel, let me know. But basically, things that you want to think about is, if you only have your logo, then you're limiting yourself to people that are, that are really into the content that you are putting out there, or that they get it for as a way to, just kind of like a, hey, thanks for the content you put out, as a way to support you, that kind of stuff. But if you make stuff that or merch that is targeted towards the things that your viewers are interested in, you'll sell more. That's just how it is. So, for example, in my case, just to be specific, since you watch my content, in my case, like the Nimmin stuff, people buy it and, that sells. However, the one where it says, subscribe to me on YouTube or whatever, that one sells like, I don't know, probably 8 times more. And the reason for that is because it's about you. Right? It's not about my brand. It's about you and people subscribing to your YouTube channel. Right? So it resonates more with a larger amount of people compared to people needing to be like really into my content and having the desire to support me through buying the merch. Anybody that is a content creator can appreciate the subscribe on YouTube thing. Right? So because of that, just when you're putting your merch together, think to yourself, okay, sure, I'm going to put my logo stuff in there, but what else can I come up with that's a little bit clever, or that the people that are watching my videos, based on the type of content that I make, maybe they would find it funny, or maybe some type of inside joke for the industry. So for example, if you're a filmmaker like Vigard, then, you might have, one thing. And if you are a crafting channel, you might have another thing, as an example. So just think about, hey, if I have these types of people watching my content, what is it that they would enjoy, so that you can, end up selling more in that case. Let's see here.
Super chat.
Chrissa, thank you for the super chat. Says, hey, Nick, I'm starting YouTube in Greek, and the niche is really tiny. So I thought of combining podcasting with YouTubing. Thoughts on that? Thanks. Podcasting with YouTubing can be fantastic. But one thing that you want to think about is, you just want to make sure that you, like, if you're putting both on there, make sure that your podcast and your YouTube are in alignment for the people that you're trying to reach. So if you have a podcast about one thing, and then you have a YouTube channel about another thing, then you wouldn't want to put both of those on the same channel, right? But if you have, if both of those things, your podcast and your YouTube channel, just like in my case, Comments Over Coffee, which is my podcast, and my YouTube channel, both of them, I'm talking about YouTube and helping people with YouTube. So because of that, if I wanted to put episodes of Comments Over Coffee on my YouTube channel, technically I could, but I'm not going to, just because maybe I'll test one someday. But instead, I'm actually making a new channel for Comments Over Coffee. I have it already. I have the channel. I just haven't uploaded the video content to it yet. So when it comes to, mixing it up, just think about, okay, am I going to do long form on my channel? Am I going to do short form on my channel? And if I'm going to mix them up, then if one always performs better than the other, then you might want to consider, hey, maybe this week I might skip the podcast on the channel and just kind of see if putting up another piece of short form content on the channel, if people will respond to that more. Or if you find the podcasts are getting a higher response than the short form content, then do the same exact thing. It's like, hey, this week, let me try just putting up, an extra podcast instead of putting up a piece of the short form content to see, if that higher response is coming in from the actual, content itself, or if it's just the cadence of short and long that is, causing people to my core subscribers, causing them to respond to it more. So you'll definitely want to experiment with it, but just be careful of just always putting up the long form stuff if and only if you notice when you go into your audience retention for the podcast that you're putting on YouTube, if you notice that people are hitting your podcast and they're just dropping off and you're not holding people, for very much time for the actual podcast itself, if that happens, then you might want to consider putting it on a completely different channel instead of just, polluting your channel with that content that underperforms. But if you notice that, hey, people are responding to the long form podcast and they're responding to the regular content, then keep them both on your channel. Okay. So another thing that's going to help you as well, as you are, doing all of that, is inside of your YouTube analytics, and you can Google for specifics on it. We've talked about it here on the live stream a lot. I've mentioned it in a handful of videos, but there's something called grouping in YouTube analytics. So if you do have content that you're testing, or if you're, like, hey, let me put up podcasts for a while along with short form, then what you can do is you can use the grouping feature to put all your podcasts together, put all of your short form content together. And instead of looking at it like this video did this, this video did this, this video did this, you can actually see how they perform as a group, as a content type in that situation. So then you can say, wow, people are, they click on these way more, but they watch these for much longer time, or these generate way more ad revenue than these, or these generate more subscribers than these. But it really helps you uncover what content type on your channel performs better than the other content types as well, or format. Let's see here. So hopefully that helped. Bunch of information there all at once. Hey, Chip, hope you're doing well, man. Let's see here. So as we keep scrolling down, I saw another one come through. So let me pop it up here. Neil, Urban Explorer. What's up, my dude? So my girlfriend and I today, we ran across a, I don't know if there's anybody else in the chat that does the van life stuff besides Neil here, Urban Explorer. But we were looking around at some of the van life stuff today, and I was showing her on Pinterest and on YouTube just some of the awesome setups that people have. And we were actually talking about you today, Neil. This is just like a few hours ago. We were going through all of that, and she was like, "Oh, this is so cool! Like, we should do one of these so that we can like go camping and stuff when the weather's nice here and all that." And I'm like, yeah, it would be cool. But, I'm not going to actually build, one of those. It would have to be some type of like prefab or something like that in order for me to do that. I'm not sure I have the building confidence to build an entire interior of a van. Like you're a machine, Neil. But he says, had a phone call with Channel 7 TV in Australia who are making a series about building a camper, and they want to reference my channel. You taught me everything and it's paying off. Thank you. Nice work, dude. High five and fist bump to you for, possibly getting on TV, dude. That's awesome. Super awesome. And you're already getting business from your YouTube channel as well. So, because of that, like you're getting business there. And then that particular, TV spot might, start bringing in more business too, which is always a win. J-Rock Gaming.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that next time you are on Facebook, you look for Nimminati VIP. That is our members only group. Excuse me, having like talking too much without breathing. That's our members only group on Facebook. You can also go to nimminvip.com. That will redirect you to where you don't even have to worry about looking for it on Facebook or anything like that. But make sure that you fill out all the information on the way in, because I verify everybody on the way in. And we do our live streams over there. We'll have another one this coming Wednesday. So, once you are in the group, just keep an eye out for that. But it'll be Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So I will see you over there. Let's see here. So there's some more that came through, scrolling down here, looking for them. And I think that I might have actually ended up missing some because of the scroll. No, I think I'm good. Okay. So I think I'm caught up there. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate it. Doug says, make sure to hydrate.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
2 quacks, 5 clucks. What's up? Hope you're doing great. Okay. So let's see here. Next up on our list, I'm going back into the form for this one. So after this one, I'm going to pull a question out of the chat. So, and I do that just because, like people come into the form, those are the early birds. So I try to, put the priority there, but I know that some people, they just can't get there in time, or, they can't get to the stream early. So because of that, I like to pull them out of the chat from time to time too. So, just keep that in mind. And when you get your question ready, don't put it in there now. I'll tell you, when to put it, but when you put it in there, hey Kitty, hope you're doing awesome. But when you put it in there, you want to make sure that you are that you put a Q in front of it. That'll help me identify that it's for me and not a side conversation in here. Roger Wakefield also in the house. What's up, Roger? Hope you're doing awesome. Crushed it on the TubeBuddy stream yesterday on the International Creator Day live stream. Awesome seeing you on there. Hey man, I know you've been on here before too. I would love to get you on here sometime. I'm occasionally going to do we did it last week for the first time with Renee Ritchie, but we are going to occasionally do like a spotlight here for, people that, that are typically, hanging out in the community and stuff. And, they're doing well on their YouTube channels, so that, they can come on, share the things that, that they've done to help. And I know you've been on here before, but I would love to have you on again specifically for that. And I'm not sure time zone wise and things like that, how it fits into your schedule. But I'll hit you up. I'll hit you up either on Twitter or Facebook later to see if you are interested in coming on and sharing that, as long as the time zones work out. Let's see here. Spin Jump King
Super Chat
says, hey, I'm starting an animation channel. Is it a good niche to get into? And how long will it take to grow it? It won't be made for kids content. So here's the thing. First off, when it comes to how long it's going to take to grow the channel, that's going to come down to your approach. So I could give you a number, but that number is not going to be accurate, right? Some people will start a YouTube channel and it'll take off right out of the gate because the content they're putting out is high response. The people click on it at a high rate. They enjoy it for a high rate. They share it all over the place, things like that. And then other people will start a YouTube channel. It'll take them a year to get traction. Some people, I mean, if you look around the internet, some people have been on YouTube for, 5 years and they don't have any traction. So, everything's just based on what it is that you do and the decisions that you make and the content you put together, how people respond to that content that you're putting together. So what you want to think about, especially if you're doing animation, if it's possible with what it is that you're doing, if you can mix in education, or if you can mix in pop culture into your animations, that can be helpful or advantageous as well. I can't remember the YouTube channel, but one that I like to reference when this question pops up is there's a channel that I ran across. Hey, Paul Peck, what's up, dude? There's a channel that I ran across on Reddit, and that particular channel, I think he had 10 videos at the time, and he had 250,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel out of those, I think it was 10 videos. And all of the videos were about, the Marvel universe. And what they did is they just put them out. The timing was perfect. They nailed it. So they put them out at the time when, people were most interested around that particular part of the Marvel universe. And then they would share it on Reddit in those particular threads that would kind of get the engine started, so to speak. And then people would just flood in to see the animations and the clever things that they were doing around their animations around the Marvel universe. So just keep that in mind. Not saying that you have to, impose on your, creativity, but I'm just saying, like, if you're wanting to speed things up, those are things that typically get the ball rolling a little bit faster on YouTube, because you're making something about people, or you're making something that people are already interested in, instead of having to introduce them to something new. So you use that content as a means to expose people to your YouTube channel, and then you introduce them to your original stuff, it's all original, but you introduce them to, things that aren't necessarily related to, pop culture, if you want to, if you're making things that are not related to pop culture. Okay, so next up on our list here, we've got Iron Wolf. Iron Wolf.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Cheers. Welcome to the Nimminati. Look for... If you just go to nimminvip.com, it will redirect into that members only Facebook group. Fill out all the stuff on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a member. We'll be live streaming there on Wednesday. So make sure that you are around for that if possible. Let's see here. So Chrissa says, I don't have a podcast. I'm just going to talk about how to podcast in YouTube. Sorry for the confusion. Oh, yeah, if you're just talking about how to podcast, then basically you're just reaching content creators. So if you're talking, about YouTube and you're talking about, podcasting, then in both of those situations, you are, you're reaching content creators. However, if you don't have a podcast and you don't have a YouTube channel yet, I would just be mindful about, getting some experience. If you start talking about, like how to get results on a podcast or YouTube, I'd get some experience first. But, talking about, how to make the content, how to make a podcast, how to make YouTube videos, things like that. Those will do the same thing in terms of bringing people to your YouTube channel, so that you can get some of that first. And that will save you a lot of headaches in your comment section from people coming in there and giving you a hard time. Let's see here. So as we keep on trucking, we are going down the list here also. Okay, so we are going to pull this next one here out of the chat. So if you have a question about what it is that you're doing on YouTube, put a Q in front of it, and just go ahead and drop them in there, and I will grab it right out of here as I see it. So I'm just going to pick a random one as they are, as they're going through the screen here. Let's see here. Chip Getler says, you have a good resource on how to build a talking head script. So I have a video on my YouTube channel about how to build a script, how to make a script for YouTube. So there's that. There's also TubeSpanner, which is in the process of, being reworked right now, but they have a scripting tool in there as well. If you go to tubespanner.com, it's actually on the TV back here for some of those side shots. But if you go to tubespanner.com, they actually have inside of there, it's a scripting tool. So how it works is, you can put in there like the pacing of how fast you talk, and it will give you an idea of ballpark how long your script is going to take in terms of minutes if you didn't have any long spaces that would, of course, expand it out. But just for the talking parts, it'll tell you how long those spaces or how long your video is roughly going to be, so you can keep an idea while you're putting your script together. In addition to that, it helps you with formatting. So it'll be like, intro here, any calls to actions here, your body here, and you can customize it so that, after you're in there and you're like, hey, I actually want to do mine a little bit different. Let me move this up here and this down here. But it's a full script writing thing. So you can do, the whole thing there inside of TubeSpanner. Power Up.
Superchat.
Power Up says, is promoting on other channels like Insta recommended? I've tried promotions through other Instagram pages, but it didn't seem to increase the YouTube views. The best thing that you can do to grow your YouTube channel is to learn how to get a response on YouTube. So one thing that a lot of people will do is that they'll be like, okay, I want to grow my channel as fast as possible. Understandable, right? We all want to do that, right? So it's like, hey, I want to grow my YouTube channel as fast as possible. So what they'll do is they'll go out and they'll try all these, things to kind of speed the process up, instead of focusing on the thing that is the most important. And the thing that is the most important is thinking of, okay, I'm making content for other people. And since I'm making content for other people, I have to learn how to get those people to respond in terms of a click on my thumbnails and my titles. And I have to come up with topics that are also interesting for other people. And in addition to that, I also need to learn how to keep people watching my videos for a competitive amount of time. And the idea behind all of that is that in order to compete on YouTube, you have to be able to put out content that is competitive with the other content that is out there on YouTube. So for example, let's say that you're going into, because you have Power Up as your name. So I'm just with the name, it makes me think of tech. So I'm just going to talk about that. So let's say that you're going to the tech space. And typically, let's say in the tech space, for the videos that the tech crowd is putting out, let's say that at 100,000 impressions, those people are typically hitting like a 5% click through rate, and let's say a 50% average view duration. And that's pretty broad across the board. I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm just saying theoretically that's broad across the board for the tech content. So what you need to learn how to do is you need to learn how to figure out, and this applies to everybody here for whatever type of content it is that you make. You got to figure out, okay, what do my numbers look like that make me competitive? And you'll start to identify those things as you learn to keep people watching longer, as you learn how to get people clicking more based on the amount of impressions that you're getting. You'll learn how to identify that, hey, this is what competitive looks like for my channel and for the space that I'm in, because when my numbers look like this, then these videos always get views. When my numbers don't look like that or they fall below this, then those videos typically suffer for it. So you'll start to uncover those types of things. But when it comes to really getting results from what it is that you're doing, you got to get YouTube on your side. And by getting YouTube on your side, or the way that you get YouTube on your side, is giving YouTube what it is that they want, which is an excellent experience on their platform for the users that are on the platform. So ultimately what you want is when YouTube shows your content to people on the homepage, recommended next to other videos, or when it comes up in search or in the subscription feed, whatever, you want people clicking on yours as much as possible. And you want people to, when they do click on it, to not leave that video for as long as possible. Okay. And you'll start to notice over time, you'll start mixing your, your total watch time with your average percentage viewed. And you'll start to notice over time that, hey, when I make videos about this long, then people don't really watch, all the way through. So because of that, let me make them a little bit shorter. Now I've got a higher percentage viewed and my watch time is about the same. So just in terms of performance, this video, is most likely going to be better. And I'm able to get people to click like at this rate so that you can, start to identify and uncover the things that, are, that work for the content that you're putting out on YouTube. Because, when you're spending ad money, if you're spending ad money on, on YouTube ads, or if you're spending them on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever it is that you're going to do it, TikTok, the problem happens when you don't know how to get that organic response on YouTube. Because if you are paying for people to come in, you're paying for those views, right? So people are coming in, and just based on numbers alone, you're going to have some people subscribe, some people are going to watch the videos. But the problem happens when you turn that faucet off with that money that you're spending. Then you default right back into, can I get an organic response or not? And if you can, then your efforts have paid off. But if you can't, then you end up in the same exact situation where it's like, oh, great, now I got to pay to play. And it starts to give you that perception because you haven't learned how to get that organic response yet, right? So because of that, first off, if I was just starting a channel today and I was going to use ads to try to grow it, I wouldn't be spending that ad money on TikTok. I wouldn't be spending that ad money on Instagram. I wouldn't be spending that ad money on Facebook. I'd be spending it on YouTube, because the effort that it would take to get somebody to participate on YouTube is way less than the other platforms, because the other platforms, they have to click something. And in a lot of them, they have the walls now to where they have to confirm that they want to leave the platform. Then they come to the channel and their mind state is in TikTok or in Facebook or in Instagram, and it's not in YouTube. But for the people on YouTube and you're advertising here, those people are already committed. They're in there, they're looking at their phone, they're expecting to spend some time watching some videos or shorts or whatever. And because of that, they're already here. So all they have to do is just click in, and then they're already in the YouTube experience anyway, right? So if you are going to experiment with ads, I would do it here instead of trying to pull people over from other platforms. So that was a lot of info. But the overall idea is, sure, if you want to advertise your content, that's fine. However, I recommend, do whatever you like, but I recommend that you learn how to get an organic response first, because if you can get that organic response, then in that case, you are going to, I don't know if win is the right word, but if you can get the organic response, then things are going to go the way that you want. And if you can't, then you're essentially just throwing money away, trying to get some activity on your channel. All right. So let's see here. Let's keep on creeping down here, and we're just going to grab one more here out of the chat, and then we will go back into the forum, and then I'll do the chat again. So Weave Impact here. Let's see what this one says. It says, my new video didn't grow well because I don't have a lot of unique ideas, because we are quarantine people, and been taking my ideas, making it harder for me to make unique ideas. What should I do? Keep going. Here's the thing. As a YouTube content creator, all of us, right? Like we all have to keep going. So even if you're thinking to yourself like, man, I don't have any good ideas right now, still try to come up with something, still try to make something so that you can keep that whole process of creating moving. Because what happens as soon as you start stopping yourself and you're like, oh, that's a lame idea. This is a lame idea. I shouldn't do that. This is a lame idea. I shouldn't do that. Man, I don't even know what to publish now, because all the stuff that I'm coming up with, it's lame, right? And you start giving yourself that hard time. Instead, just think, okay, so these are the ideas that I have right now, and I don't like any of these ideas. So instead of thinking of, hey, what is it that I just want to make? Start thinking of from the perspective of, okay, so these are the things that I want to make. Some of them are okay, some of them are not. But what is it that I can do today to add value to people that might watch this video, right? And start thinking from that perspective, and then make that type of content as well in addition. So if you find yourself in a dry spell of coming up with ideas, just think, okay, around the type of content that I make, let's say that you make gaming content. Let's say normally you do Let's Plays, or you're just like live streaming your Let's Plays. Then in that case, think to yourself, okay, if I don't want to do a Let's Play and everybody else is doing the Let's Plays on this game and it's really competitive and it's really hard and I can't come up with any good ideas, let me instead show people like all the different stuff that they can get in this particular area of the game that I play, or let me show them how to beat this particular person in the game, or, something along those lines. So in that case, you're creating a piece of help content instead of just trying to come up with something off the top of your head. If you go to YouTube search and you type in Nick Nimmin video ideas, there's going to be a couple of videos in there about different ways to come up with unlimited video ideas. So if you're at a blank spot and you're like, man, I just don't have, I just can't do it, or I just can't come up with the ideas right now. Don't be hard on yourself. Just be like, hey, that's just the space that I'm in right now. So because of that, let me, use the tools that are available to me to try to come up with some ideas. Go to YouTube autocomplete. And what that is if you go to your YouTube homepage, you're going to see a search bar. If you go to that search bar and you start typing something in, YouTube is going to auto-complete the search for you. So what you would do, let's say that you're doing drawing content like Beanie draws. In his case, he draws dinosaurs. So he could put something like, dinosaur drawing. And then YouTube's going to show him, a bunch of different options around dinosaur drawing that people are actually looking for on YouTube. And then of course, you can add an A to that, a B to that. You can, rearrange the different ways that you're putting the words in there. And then YouTube's just going to kick back tons of ideas. Google does the same exact thing. And if you use Google for it, if you go all the way to the bottom of Google, do you want me to show you this? I can actually show you how to do all this. If you want me to show you how to do this right now, I'll actually show you. Just let me know. But like using these tools, it's endless. It's endless. You can just come up with so many ideas. Arkansas Diamond Miner, what's up, man? Hope you're doing great. Says haven't been here in a while. Good to see you, Nick. Coffee on me this morning. Take care. Good to see you as well. Thanks for swinging by. Cheers. Thanks for the coffee. I appreciate it. All right. So let's see here. Next up on our list. Okay, so we had a yes, please on showing it. Let's see if we have any more of those. Sure, please. Yep. So we have a lot of keywords. Show us. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so let me open this up so I can just get this ready. And then let me open this up so I can get ready here also. Okay. So if I share, I'm going to start with Google. I'll do YouTube first. Let's go to YouTube first. Okay. Share screen, window, and let's go here. Make sure this is the right one. Yep. Okay. First off, see this Ryan George right here? Absolutely hilarious. If you're not subscribed to this guy, you definitely should go check this dude out. Super, super funny. Ryan George is his name over here on this side. But for the video ideas, so the very first thing is the YouTube autocomplete is right up here in the top. So if I take this and I go into my page marker, you're going to see this right up here at the top. This is the YouTube search that I'm talking about. Okay. So what you want to do is, in this case, if you were talking about, let's say Fortnite, right? And here, if you just type in Fortnite and then you put a space, you'll see gameplay, you'll see season 6 gameplay, Fortnite channel, Fortnite item shop, montage, song, live dance, fashion show, blah, blah. And then if we go A, then it's going to give us a bunch more options, right? Go B, it's going to give us more. Let me zoom in on this just so I can make sure that you can see what it is that I'm doing there for anybody here that happens to be on a phone right now. But if we go to B, right, then we go to C, and then it adds a bunch more, D, a bunch more, and so on, right? So the thing there is that when you are doing this for whatever type of content you make, let's say that you make barbecue videos, right? Here, barbecue pit boys, barbecue stained chicken recipe, sauce, barbecue sauce recipe, ribs, chicken, ribs in oven, space, A. Barbecue and foot massage. Wow, that's interesting. Barbecue and YouTube, barbecue ASMR, barbecue alligator, barbecue in bottles, barbecue asparagus. You can see here how they, these are all ways that people are looking for things around barbecue. So if you're making barbecue content, then that would be a way that you can uncover ideas there. Google's the same exact way. So if we were to do Fortnite here, let's just say Fortnite tips and tricks for fun. We'll do 21, and we'll just do Fortnite tips and tricks. Then you'll see here how they start to show us Fortnite tips and tricks, PS4, 2020, Switch, Season 5, book, for controllers. And then we do A, does the same exact thing. B, same thing. C, same thing. D, same thing. And then as we scroll down the page, this is a thing that's really cool here, is if we go down the bottom of the page, Google's going to show us down here other ways and other things that people look for when they're looking for Fortnite. And this will happen on on all the results pages that you see for whatever it is that you happen to be looking for here. And then of course you have the other version. If you're a TubeBuddy user, then you have this version where you can use the keyword explorer, where you could put in like Fortnite tips, right? And then here under Fortnite tips, you can see here that they show related searches. Fortnite tips and tricks, Fortnite tips and tricks PS4, Xbox console for beginners, and then same exact thing. You could do the A if you wanted to, or you can start clicking stuff. Fortnite tips for beginners. Hey, maybe I want to make that idea. And then you click into this and you see that. And then you just start looking for, any of the stuff that ends up making sense to you for something that you want to make. So from a video idea standpoint, you're unlimited. Absolutely unlimited with the with what it is that you can make content about, and this applies to anything. It just comes down to your creativity and how you're searching for things in order to uncover things that you want to make a video about. Walter's World, what's up, man? I hope that you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. Let's see here. So there's some super chats came in. Let me get these really quick here. Thank you for those. Let's scroll up. Okay, so we got Arkansas. Okay, Forbidden Instincts sounds interesting.
Chat.
Says, it's funny, I've had times where I thought a video would be bad because I couldn't think of anything creative for the intro, and that video blew to 6,000 plus. A lot of times, it's just about uploading. Don't stress. Yeah, that's true. I've also been in that situation too, to where, back in the day, I had maybe two of some of the highest performing content on my channel was, oh man, I need to get a video out. So let me, what can I do really quick? And then just whipping together a video and then bam, right? And then people respond to it great. So yeah, when, instead of stressing about it, I have a video that I put out recently about perfection, right? Because typically you want to come up with, in our brains, hey, I want that perfect video idea that people are just going to absolutely love, which is a good approach to take, but you don't want to take that approach at the cost of not uploading, not going through the process of, learning your skills through editing videos and, things like that. As soon as the roadblocks start popping up, then those are obstacles that you're either going to have to break through, right? Through just going ahead and making some content and getting it up, that sort of thing. So you can stay in motion, or you're going to slowly start putting on the brakes, one roadblock after another one, after another one, after another one. So because of that, it's way better to just keep on pushing so that you can, get out what it is that you need, and you can accomplish whatever it is that you are trying to do with your YouTube channel. LaRon Henderson,
Super chat.
thank you for the super chat. Says, my views are increasing drastically, but I can't keep views on my videos. Any tips on increasing my views and getting my channel to grow faster? My views are increasing drastically, but you can't keep views on your videos. I'm having trouble with this one, man. In my brain, my brain is seeing that you're getting views and your views are increasing, and then it's followed by you not being able to keep views on your videos. So in terms of tips on increasing your views and getting your channel to grow faster, I do have some of those. So we can start there. Say, hey, Brian G. Johnson in the house. What's up, dude? Hope that you are doing awesome. Feel free to come on later. I'll be dropping that link here in about an hour or so. Let's see here. So in terms of tips for increasing your views. So who here wants to increase the views coming into your YouTube channel? Who wants to get more views on what it is that you're doing? Just give me a me if you are wanting to get more views on what it is that you're doing. So when you are publishing content, YouTube is in your analytics. They are showing you the things that people are, okay, we got a lot of me's here. Okay, YouTube is showing you the things that people are responding to the most, right? They're showing you these videos, right? These are your top videos right when you log into your YouTube analytics. They show you these are your top, these are the top videos, for this period. So what you want to do is you want to consider that those top videos for this period are videos. Make sure my audio is still connected after that flicker. Yep. You want to make sure that those top videos for that period, you want to say, okay, the video that I'm getting ready to publish today, for that video, or the video that I'm going to be publishing in a few days, the video I'm planning today, whatever. If I look at this list of videos that are currently bringing in the most activity to my YouTube channel, a very important thing that we have to do as content creators is we have to try the best that we can to get people that watch one video to watch another video. If they don't watch that video, then hopefully they'll watch the one that comes in after that, or the one that comes in after that. But the more of those videos that make sense to the viewers that we're trying to reach. Like the more videos that I publish that matter to you, the more that you click on those, the better off it is for me and the views that are coming into those particular videos, because you are resonating with those topics. When I start deviating a little bit, then that's where things start breaking down. For example, when I do content about views on my channel, those always do well because every content creator wants to get more views. However, when I make a video about, how to make a channel banner, that particular video might not do that great because there's tons of YouTubers, tons of YouTube channels, but a lot of them already have a channel banner. So that particular video is more for people that are just coming onto it. So therefore I can't expect that one to do much better, right? However, that one's still important because that particular piece of content, even though it doesn't get as many views, is still bringing the right people that I'm trying to reach into my YouTube channel that might not have, interacted with my content ever before. And I'm catching them at that point in their journey to where I'm going to be able to be of the highest service to those people. So because of that, even though my views are lower, those types of videos still help me ultimately accomplish what it is that I'm doing with the channel, right? So what you want to think about though, when it comes to views by itself, and the reason I said that whole thing is because it's always important to balance out, like, okay, these might not be getting as many views. However, like this is what I'm trying to do with the channel. So what content am I putting out and how is it serving the goals that I'm trying to accomplish with the channel? It's a really important part of all of this. However, if you're just trying to get views, then in that case, you go into that same list in your analytics of the videos that are performing well for you. And you say, these are the videos that are driving traffic. Out of these videos that are causing the most activity recently on my YouTube channel, what could I make that would be a good next step or a good fit for the interest that the people had that were coming into that particular video? So in your case, Lauren, I'm not sure what type of content that you make, but let's say that you make content, and I'm just looking at my YouTube homepage here. Excuse me. Let's say that you make content on LinkedIn, right? About LinkedIn. And let's say on that content about LinkedIn, you notice that, hey, when you talk about, and we'll just use Ash in this one, but let's say that you talk about personal branding on LinkedIn and you notice in your stats that, hey, these personal branding videos always get traction. Whereas when I talk about like setting up your LinkedIn profile, not so much. When I talk about just general LinkedIn tips and tricks, not so much. So because of that, if you notice in your analytics in that group of top performing videos for the period, if you notice, hey, I've got like, 5 videos in here and they're near the top, right? So they're bringing in, majority of the traffic, but they're near the top and those are all about personal branding. Then in that case, there's a lot of activity. Now, of course, you got to balance that out with some of the stuff in the bottom because the stuff in the bottom, together could, reach a similar amount of views. But if you have videos that are performing well, then you'd want to say, okay, these particular videos here are bringing in viewers. What can I make next? That would be a fantastic fit for those people. If it's something around personal branding, and that would be the thing, and I'm just saying that because it's on my homepage here, but if it was on personal branding content, you had like 5 of those videos that were driving the channel, then it makes sense to think about, okay, what else could I talk about with personal branding? Because that's something that obviously these people that are currently interacting with the channel, that's something that they care about. And therefore, the likelihood of them clicking on this next video about personal branding, if I could take it a step further or offer something different from that other content, the likelihood of them clicking on it is going to be much higher. So hopefully that answered your question. But in addition to that, you can also do things within your content. So I call it a watch time trap, but the idea, that's just the fancy name that I put on it, but the idea is just making it easy for people to find the content that you have on your channel. So make sure if you do have content, if you have like a video or a few videos to where the views have, been exceptionally better than the others, make sure that you're linking additional content there in your video description that's relevant to that video that they're watching. Make sure that you're adding links to your end screens, pinning comments, that sort of thing. So you're making it easy for people to find more of the content that you have on the channel. Let's see here as we keep on going down the list. The Epic Desk coming up to you here in just a few. Let's see here. So we've got Dreamcast Hub says, hey, Nick, I have a channel about Dreamcast gems, indie Japan games, and I'm having trouble balancing quality and quantity. Tips for frequent uploading. Okay, so if you want to upload more, then in that case, it's really advantageous for you to get your workflow together. So what that means is when you're putting your video content together, you want to start using templates and things like that. If you have any type of recurring things that happen, if it's, music or if it's any type of processing, you want to use macros for some of that processing. Uh-oh, we having like a We having a thing here? Nope. Okay. But if you using macros for stuff like, for example, if you process your audio, then you can have macros that you build into Adobe Audition, for example, if you're an auditioning user, to where you can just hit play and it'll just process your audio for you because you've already done the work ahead of time to build that macro. So if you record in a similar environment all the time, then you can just go in there, drop in your track, click on it, run that macro, bam, export it out. And you just saved yourself, a handful of minutes there. Same exact thing goes with, getting your video files together. So if you're a Premiere user, then in that case, you'd want to build a core template and then copy and paste that template to start a new project. Within that template would have any subscribe icons that you have popping up or any channel, in-screen branding that you have on there, any lower thirds that you have on there, anything like that, so that it's already contained within that, so that you don't have to spend those, extra few minutes looking for this graphic and looking for that graphic and all of that. Also just organizing your files in general. So when you do have to look for things, that you know where to get them. So if you need B-roll, then hey, I go into this folder for B-roll, grab those, drop them in, that sort of thing. So just being organized, getting your workflow together is definitely going to help. But if you're like, hey, I got that down, I'm just trying to figure out, quality versus quantity, because that's a really common question on YouTube. And if you're trying to determine like, hey, should I upload more but less quality, or should I just wait and upload like one video that is just high quality? In my opinion, I think that you should experiment with both. And the reason for that is because a lot of times the things that we might think we need to do to make a high quality video, it might be high quality way before it gets to that point that would be stopping you from publishing that video. So because of that, I would balance the two out and then start noticing how do people respond to the ones that maybe I didn't spend as much time on compared to the ones that I spent more time on, so that you can start to identify, like the things that I'm thinking are super important. Like, do the people that are watching these videos, do they find that stuff as important as I do? Right. So when you're experimenting, then you're going to start getting real data on how people are responding to the decisions that you're making. And when you can do that, then you're going to start seeing that, hey, maybe the people are going to respond to the ones you spend more time on. And then that's going to give you data behind, hey, these ones that I spend more time on, people respond to these more. Therefore, I'm going to commit to, doing these, even though they take me a little bit longer time. Right. So get that data, y'all. Okay. Cutthroat Society. Interesting name. I'm scared. I'm scared right now. Scared right now. Scared. Okay. Says, hey, Nick, is it possible to do well in a niche because you're the only girl doing that kind of content? I make targeted individual content. Yeah. So if you are the only person doing that piece of, or doing that type of content, yes. If you have anything that helps you stand out on YouTube, like if it's a space that's normally dominated by males and you come in as a female and you do it, then, that's one thing that's going to help you stand out. If you are in a mostly female dominated space and you come in as a male and you do it, then that's going to be something that's going to help you stand out. So, a great example of this is if you look in the ASMR space, that's primarily, like, mostly guys do it a lot too, but there's like an overwhelming majority of women that are doing the ASMR stuff, and that helps the guys stand out. Right. Because, of course, a lot of them do well also, but, that type of thing really helps the guys, stand out. So absolutely. That is anything that, separates you from other people, and the experience of other people is definitely something that can be an advantage for you here on YouTube. Let's see here. Hey, Susie, hope you're doing great. Walk with me, Tim says, hey, Nick, I also do live walks, and I wonder, should I keep them on my channel? And if you unlist a video after a live, do you lose views? So you lose your public view counts and your public watch time. So if you are doing your live walkarounds and you make them unlisted on your channel, you can make them unlisted into a playlist on your channel page so people can still find them if they want, but it's not going to be a piece of content that YouTube is going to be suggesting around because it's unlisted. So because of that, I mean, technically, if it's unlisted, but in a playlist, technically, they can still get recommended from time to time. But most of the time, it doesn't. So because of that, you can either private it or put it unlisted into a playlist so that people can still access it if you want them to. But if you don't, then you can completely private it or delete it. But when you do that, just keep in mind that you are going to lose your public watch time and your public view count. So what that means is, if you're trying to get into the partner program or you're trying to maintain your partner program and you think you're going to be cutting it close in terms of the requirements for it so that you can get monetized or stay monetized, then in that case, you wouldn't want to be deleting those, because then you would be working against yourself trying to reach that goal. So hopefully that answers your question. Tube Spanner, what's up, Danielle? Tube Spanner in the house. This is the one that I was talking about before on the scripting thing, where one of the questions that came in earlier was about scripting. I know I saw you. There it is. Right here. Thank you for the super chat, Danielle. She says, increase the life of your carpets by rolling them up and keeping them in a garage. Yeah. Always in here with the great suggestions. But yeah, tube spanner. That's the thing that I was talking about before with the scripting on it. So definitely, if you are trying to get your scripts together, definitely check that out. It's in the works right now in terms of improvements. So if you go in there right now, because there's a lot of things getting changed, so you might run into little hiccups here and there. But if you do, just hang tight, because all that stuff is getting worked out really quick right now. Creek 89 says, hey Nick, what's up, Creek? Hope you're doing great. Says, is gaming very competitive to start a channel? Yeah, most things on YouTube are competitive to start a channel, but I don't want you to be discouraged by that. What I want you to think about is if you want to do gaming content, then by all means do gaming content. And the thing to think about is if you're going into a competitive space with the content that you're putting out, if you're going into like gaming, for example, you're going into beauty, for example, if you're going into any type of, like editing, like video editing, anything like that, all that stuff is competitive. But what you want to think about is, okay, even though it's competitive, I'm not doing it. So because of that, people are not seeing it the way that I would do it. They're not seeing my interpretation of this type of content. So therefore, I'm going to do it anyway. And the people that resonate with the way that I do it, they're going to be involved. The people that don't, they're not going to be involved. And I'm just going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to use the information that YouTube gives me that's letting me know how people are responding to the different things that I'm doing and the different choices that I make. And I'm going to, move things around based on that. And I'm just going to do it anyway, regardless if it's competitive or not. There's always space, and there will always be space for good content creators. Okay. So instead of thinking about, what's competitive and what's not, think about like skill sets and like, how can I just be as good as I possibly can at this? How can I put videos together in a great way in terms of editing? How can I make them super engaging? And if you can't do it or you can't figure it out, like, who do I got to work with? Who do I got to hire in order to make this stuff happen? Right. So if it's like, hey, I'm not coming up with good video ideas, maybe I should, hop into a Reddit forum and start talking to people about video ideas. If I can't, edit videos that well right now, then I need to watch as much content as I can possibly watch on editing videos. Right. And start educating yourself or figuring out, how to get those things taken care of. But don't let anything being competitive hold you back, because, if you do, then you're just putting up that wall and making it hard for yourself to where, like preventing yourself from starting because something's competitive. Like you could be costing yourself an amazing opportunity just because other people are doing it. Right. So because of that, like come in, do your thing, and the people that resonate with you will resonate with you. Let's see here. Captures Creatures of a Legend says, good morning, Nick. A big thank you for all that you do. I always learn lots from your videos. Keep up the great work. It is greatly appreciated. Have a wonderful day. And thank you again for everything. Creatures of the Legend. Thank you for the super chat and thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. Glad that you are enjoying the content. Eric Waite, what's up, man? Hope you're doing great. Epic Death. Tom Nash, what's up, dude? Melvin Elevant, what's up, man?
Superchat.
Hope that you're doing great. Oops, hold on. We're like messing up buttons here. There we go. I'm like hitting all the wrong stuff. Thank you for the super chat. Says, love you, Nick. Just crossed 50,000 subscribers. As you know, I pivoted from movie content to animal commentary, and best decision I ever made. I appreciate you as always. High five and fist bump to you, Melvin Elephant. Nice work, man, on hitting that milestone. 50,000 subscribers. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Love seeing that, man. Congratulations to you for hitting that milestone. Can we get an applause? 50,000 subscribers, man. It's no joke. Can we get an applause for 50,000 subscribers? Okay, so next up on our list here, if I see a video on my homepage, can I just create the video if I like the idea? Technically, yeah, you absolutely can. Sure, technically. What I would not do, I would use that video. What I would do is use that video as inspiration, like, oh, that's cool, but I could do that better, right? That would be inspiration. But what you don't want to do is say, okay, they opened it like this, so I'm going to open it like that. Then they did this, and so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that. So you don't want to copy that video, but just use it as inspiration. Like, hey, it's a really cool idea. I'm going to see if I can do it better. YouTube, actually, I don't know if I can pull that screenshot up in time without wasting a bunch of time. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but YouTube actually has let me open this folder again really quick. One of the things that they mention And I just want to see if I have it here. Let's see here. That one's hashtags, descriptions, algorithm discovery. Let's see here. That's about accessibility. I have a screenshot from them talking about that specifically. And they're talking about basically using other, content that's on YouTube that you enjoy as a, inspiration for some of the content that you might be putting together. But unfortunately, right now, I can't find, I can't find that screenshot. So I'm not going to show it to you now, but yeah, so they have, info out there that literally suggests that people do that. Let's see here. Says that I missed a super chat from the Epic Desk Tour. Let's see here. Okay, so the room is so dark. How do you keep it from getting grainy? You don't seem overly lit. So the room is pretty dark. So here is, let's see here. So basically, let's see. So you can't see it from that shot. So I have one light right here. Like this is it. You know what? I can switch to this one here. Give me 1 second. So right here. There we go. So yeah, you can't fully see it, but like right up here. So I have one big light right there, and you might be able to see it here. Yeah, that probably would have been easier. Yeah, you can see it right here, right? This one big light. That's all I've got on me. And then in addition to that, if you look here, I've also got this screen, right? So right now I have YouTube up there. But if I change it to this, now I have light coming in here. Right, I have light coming in here that's hitting me, and I have light coming in here that's hitting me as well. So I have this light, and then I have these two screens right here with white on them that are also helping to light me up as well. So with those things, that helps me be able to sit in here comfortably without getting a headache. Because I'll typically sit in here for a while. So because of that, when I'm streaming, it just helps keep me from getting a headache or anything like that because it's all too bright. So the camera is a Sony, I'll show you. Yeah, so the camera here, this is a Sony A5100, and it has a Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4 lens on it. So it's super crisp, and it's a low light lens because it's 1.4. So it allows me to open things up and get enough light. Same thing with this up here. This is also a 16 millimeter 1.4 lens on a Sony A6500. And then this one here is a different lens, but it's also a 6500. But I actually have this one just a tad too dark. I need to bump this one up just a little bit on the ISO. I took it down too much because I was messing with it a little bit today. But with those, a little bit different. But this one's still a low light lens, so it it holds everything together. Okay. So let's see here as we keep on trucking. Says, hey, I started to do a live session each week, and it's addicting. You're preaching. Yeah, you're preaching to the choir here. It's totally addicting. I know exactly what you mean. It is like super addicting. So, oops, let me move this over here. There we go. So let's see here. If I stop doing lives, let's say next month, will it hurt my channel, especially for watch retention? Channel, no. But just keep in mind that if you are, hey, thanks, Mikey. I appreciate it. Mikey Avelli, thank you. But basically, when it comes to, if you start doing if you're doing live streams all the time and people are coming in and they're enjoying them, then on that day that you do your live stream, you're going to see that spike in stats. When you stop doing the live streams, then that day isn't going to have that spike in stats for all of the times during the month that you would normally do that. So then therefore, the overall views that you might have on the channel over the course of the month might go down. So keep that in mind, but it's not because you did anything wrong. It's just because you're not doing that thing that would generate views. However, if you were to publish a piece of content in its place, like a piece of regular video content, then in that case, you should be able to pick up the slack or even do better in some cases than just the live stream itself. Let's see here. Poppy 2 Drip says, how many videos does it take to start getting views on YouTube? How many videos do you think here in the chat right here today? Just give me a number. How many videos do you think it takes to start getting views on YouTube? It's a great question. And in the meantime, while you're doing that,
if you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Shame on me. I just told you to do 3 things. Give me feedback, give me a thumbs up here on the video, and share it with a friend. Shame on me. I shouldn't hit that button yet. But just give me that feedback though. So yeah, so 1. Yep, 1's the number. right? So some people just put out one piece of content and things start moving from there. So this is a really good question because, when people are first starting out on YouTube, they don't know, right? There's like no expectation, like, hey, what is it going to take to, start getting some activity? So some people will put out one video, and that video is just a high response video, and people will start coming in and viewing it. They might get, 100 views on that first video. They might get 500 views. They might get 500,000 views on that very first video that they put on their YouTube channel based on how people respond to it. The beauty of YouTube and the wonderful opportunity that we have here is that there are not limitations on the reach that we can have if we can put together the right content for the right audience that is going to, help bring in the views for that particular video. So of course, if you're doing something that is general audience, and what that means is like entertainment content, some entertainment content is typically like general audience content. And the awesome thing with that is that, let's say that you watch one of these entertainment videos and you get you're like, wow, this is hilarious. I'm going to share this with some of my friends, right? Then your friends go in and they start watching that video, and then like they share it with like their mom. Hey mom, check this out. This is hilarious. And then their mom is like, oh my God, that was great. Hey, Edna, go check out, hey, they start, your mom starts sharing it with her friends. And then, next thing you know, you're getting tons of views on that one video, the first video that you put up on your channel, just because people really love that video. So the wonderful thing that we have here is that, that all we have to do to tap into all of this is learn how to get a response from what it is that we're doing. And then from there, once you start getting that response, the sky's the limit, because you can experiment, you can use the data to help accelerate things, you can get comfortable and just kind of stay in that spot if you want to, like you can do whatever you want. But the very first thing that you have to do though, is you have to learn how to start getting views on what it is that you're doing through a lot of the things, or all the things that we're talking about here in the live stream today. And other things, like if you're just getting started on YouTube, I recommend one, that you watch my channel and other channels like mine. Just find one that you resonate with. It doesn't matter to me if it's me or not, but just find somebody that does YouTube educational content and watch their content on a regular basis, because they share it, because they have that information and they are sharing it, and you can learn a lot in a really short amount of time. In addition to that, and they interpret a lot of things too that like the YouTube Creator Academy doesn't. In addition to that, go through the YouTube Creator Academy, free, provided by YouTube, 100% free. It's like an instruction manual of sorts for YouTube. So you want to make sure that you're going through that if you're a new content creator as well. It'll teach you a ton. Let's see here as we keep going down. Says, is a old channel more active than a fresh new channel? Well, with an old channel, they have a content library, right? So when you have an old channel on YouTube and they've got, 500 videos on the channel or 1,000 videos on the channel, then some of those videos are bringing views every single day. So because of that, just by the amount of content that they have on the channel that's continuing to bring in viewers every day, that channel is just going to sustain just by having that content. I have a channel that I started. I haven't uploaded to that channel in probably 5 years now. And that channel still has views coming in every month. I still get subscriber gains on it every single month. And I haven't uploaded to that channel for years, but there's still videos that are bringing in consistent views. And because of that, if I wanted to start publishing to that channel again, technically I could. And, I would be able to, start getting views right away, because there's already a built-in audience to that channel. So that's the advantage that, that older channels have if they've been consistently uploading content that performs. Now, in terms of a fresh new channel, if you're putting out content and people are loving it, then your channel could skyrocket, right? Your channel could skyrocket, and you could become an established channel really quickly if people are responding to what it is that you're doing. As a gaming creator, should I make a different channel for different genres of games? No. I don't think so. What I would do if I was a gaming content creator is I would focus on one game to get momentum, and then I would start dipping my toes into other games in that genre. So for example, if I was doing like Call of Duty content, then maybe in that case, the next thing that I might do would be like Rainbow Six or something. Like I would just be like, okay, this, the people that are coming into this are into this type of game, and I'm into this type of game. So let me have, like this type of, content that I'm putting out. And then from there, then if you wanted to start exploring more games, and I would start testing those and see how people respond to those. But for the sake of momentum, when you're first starting, I would focus on one game so you can get that engine running for you, and then start experimenting with sprinkling in additional types of content, or not additional types of content, but additional types of games if you just want to experiment with that and see how people respond to it. Because you might find out that people respond to you driving a race car way better than they respond to you, walking through, like a city, or sniping people from rooftops or whatever it happens to be. So because of that, experimentation is definitely important, but you got to think like, okay, ultimately with this channel, am I trying to grow this channel as like a channel that's based around, a game, multiple games, what it is that I'm doing, and how can I be strategic about it? So the strategic approach is focus on one game, get momentum, start experimenting with different types of content once you have that momentum, so that YouTube can already identify who that content might be a good fit for based on the people that are already interacting with your channel and enjoying your content. That's the idea. Let's see here. Next up, when I go to live stream from my phone, I'm told that I'm not eligible. I have 125 subscribers. Do you guys a live stream from your computer, or do you have to have, if you have under 1,000 subs? Yeah. So, Brianna, when it comes to live streaming from your phone, you can do it through StreamYard. If you have under 1,000 subscribers, you can also do it through Prism Live, I think is the name of it, is another app that you can use for live streaming directly from your mobile device. And what it does is you'll stream through those third-party tools, and that will allow you to get it up onto YouTube to where you're not going to be able to do it directly from inside of the mobile app until you hit that milestone. Let's see here. YouTube just gave me general answers to all my appeals. Welcome to YouTube. Yeah, welcome to YouTube. That's what they do. Let's see here. So I guess I'm an official YouTuber. If you have a YouTube channel, you're actively uploading content to that channel, you are officially a YouTuber. I make mostly guides for a MMO called RuneScape. They take a lot of time to make, but drive a lot of views. Do you think it'd be wise to start uploading more entertaining content as well? Mix it up. So, like one thing that you want to think about is if you have content that takes a long time to make, but people are responding to it really highly, then yeah, you want to make that content. But if you're like, you know what, I would like to get in another upload, but I just don't have the time, then you want to start thinking, just get creative and be like, okay, if I was forced against a wall, if I was forced into a corner and I had to make 2 videos per week, what would that other video look like? How could I put something together that would get me another upload, but wouldn't take as much time? So sure, maybe it wouldn't be, on the same exact, if one's a guide, for example, maybe the other one would be like a walkthrough or something to where you'd be able to record it and, edit it a little bit lighter and get it out there faster. But again, if you do that, you need to make sure that it's still content that people are responding to. So you got to pay attention to how it performs and make sure that you're not uploading just for the sake of uploading, because you still got to balance that out and make sure that it's content that people still enjoy. But if you're forced into that corner, just put yourself in that scenario. Say, okay, let's pretend that I'm forced into this corner. I have this content that normally takes me a week to do. So sure, I've got that one already. But now out of the time that I have, how can I put out another piece of content? One thing that you might want to think about is, in your case, if you're doing RuneScape stuff, then you might want to think, okay, well, if I am making that longer form piece of content on this game, then is there anything that I could pull out of that longer form piece of content that I would be able to make a shorter form piece of content, or just a not as much time piece of content, so that I could push that content out, and then I could actually tease in a way. You're not making a trailer, you're making a standalone piece of content, but in that content, you could tease that you also have a guide coming out for it or whatever, so that you could also build up the anticipation for that next video that you're putting out. But just think of it like, hey, I'm put in a corner. The only way out of this corner is if I figure out how to make, that extra piece of content. Because, if your guides do way better, then in that case, you might want to be like, hey, maybe I should, try to figure out, maybe I should get some help and, try to, put out, an additional guide, in that situation. But if not, and you're like, hey, I just want to, just get something else out there, then just try to get something else out there. Let's see here. So I have good content, but I can't seem to get views. What am I doing wrong? So in terms of you having good content, as content creators, we all think that we have good content, and I'm guessing your content is good. But the thing that we have to do as content creators is we also have to consider that with us, that we are going to be biased to our own content, because we're putting it together. It's from our brains. It's our ideas. We're putting it together exactly how it is that we like it. So because of that, when we put it up onto YouTube, we might think it's awesome, but ultimately what's going to make that content perform well or not is how other people perceive that content. So if you're trying to get more views, then you need to go in, you need to start paying attention to how much people are clicking on your videos compared to how many impressions that you're getting on those videos. And what an impression is, for those of you that don't know, an impression is when YouTube shows your content to somebody on the platform, right? So let's say they're on the YouTube homepage, or they're on a mobile scroll in the home feed, and they're just scrolling through. As soon as your full thumbnail and title is shown there on the screen, that is an impression. That counts as an impression. So you just need to, balance out your click-through rate versus the impressions that you're getting. You also need to make sure that people are watching your videos for a competitive amount of time, or at least an acceptable amount of time. So if you notice, hey, I'm publishing these videos that are like 10 minutes long and I'm only getting people to watch for a minute, it's not acceptable. You got to do better. So because of that, you need to say, okay, well, where I need to go to my audience retention reports, figure out where people are dropping off, why I think they're dropping off, make new content that's testing the theories that I'm coming up with on why people are dropping off so that I can try to get them not to drop off as much. Let's see here. As we keep on trucking down this road to answering more questions on YouTube. Any ideas on growing a math channel? I've recently started paying attention to analytics and it's helping, but what else can I do? Yeah, come up with great ideas for, math. What you want to do is think about, okay, if you're trying to grow the channel, what are common problems that a lot of people have with math, and what are some videos that you can make that will serve the highest amount of people around math problems? So, for example, if people have trouble with percentages and being able to do that, then making a video on, how to put percentages together, might be a thing. But TubeBuddy is great for this. If you're a TubeBuddy user, if you use their Keyword Explorer, it'll help you uncover, one, the autocomplete on YouTube, the search bar thing that I showed you before. That will help you come up with just general ideas that people are actively looking for around math. But with TubeBuddy, it'll also give you scores based on, your channel, comparing it against, other channels, and comparing the data for your channel for the specific topics that you're making content about and things like that. So you can use TubeBuddy for that. You can use the autocomplete for that. But ultimately what you're looking for is high volume in terms of people looking for it, but low competition. So just look for problems that the most people have when it comes to math and make some videos around that. And by doing that, that gives you the opportunity to bring people in. And then from there, start building on top of the education that you're giving those people that came in from that basic problem, start building them up from there. Absolutely. Beanie draws. It absolutely is. Let's see here. Tommy T067 says, hey, Nick, what's up, Tommy? Says, I have 45 million views on my channel. There's a 0 and a comma there that's kind of messing with me, but we'll just say 45 million views on my channel. Only 16,000 subscribers. Is that normal? If that number is supposed to be 45 million, then that's pretty low. If that number is supposed to be like 4,500,000, then in that case, you're okay. So basically what you want to think about is, instead, like, I know, because, I do it too. I know that there's the thing like, okay, these are my numbers. Is this normal? Am I doing good or bad? Right? So instead of thinking from that perspective, think, okay, this is how I've been able to convert people through my content. So now let me kind of deep dive into my videos and try to uncover the videos that are causing people to subscribe more if I'm trying to increase my subscriber count, because ultimately you're winning just by having the 4,500,000 or the 45 or the 4,500,000 views or the 45 million views. Like, you're winning already just in view count. So you're fine. The amount of subscribers that you're getting doesn't necessarily correlate, so to speak, to the amount of views that you're going to get on your videos. So because of that, if you're getting a lot of views on your videos, like, you're already winning because you're still getting exposed to people. You're still able to get that ad revenue and all of those things. The subscriber count is great because then, with sponsorships, things like that in the future, then you have that as kind of like there's just status that comes with it, right? So there are, advantages to it. Plus you get, the different milestones, all that good stuff. But when it comes to like what really matters really on YouTube, the view counts, that's what really matters. Like, when you're trying to move the needle and get channels growing and all that stuff, it's the view counts. That's the thing that matters most. However, people subscribing is also important because that's a quality indicator for YouTube that people enjoy the content. They want to come back, watch more and all that good stuff. So you want to get subscribers, but if you're getting views, but they're not converting as high I don't know, but they're not converting at a high why can't I get that out of my brain? They're not converting the same as another channel that you're, comparing yourself against to. Then in that situation, I had to break that one down really quick. But if you're not converting the same as another channel, then in that situation, I wouldn't stress about it, but I would just go into your stats and start thinking, okay, ultimately I'm trying to get views, so I'm winning. However, if I do want to increase the amount of subscribers that I'm getting, then I need to go into my analytics, figure out the videos on my channel that are driving the most subscribers, because YouTube will show you that in your YouTube analytics. And then you can start saying, okay, okay, the videos that drive the most subscribers, these are the videos where I'm typically doing these particular things, talking about these particular things, sharing this particular type of information, lifting people up in this particular way, whatever. And you'll start to identify that on your channel. And then if you're trying to get more subscribers, then you can say, okay, well, these are the things that are proven with the people that I'm reaching that will convert them into subscribers. So because of that, if I'm trying to increase that number, then I will make some additional content like that so that I can get more, subscribers coming in from that content. But with that said, I have a video on my channel. I can't remember the exact title of it, but the whole thing, I think it's got like a play button. I'm like in the thumbnail with a play button like this. And on that video, the whole video is about like how many videos people typically put out to reach, on average, how many videos they typically put out to reach a certain amount of subscribers. So you might have interest in that. But keep in mind, that's taking into account huge channels, and that's taking into account, smaller channels as well. So there's huge swings in the middle of that, but it just gives you kind of like a loose idea on, what normal might be. I've got another one of those videos for audience retention as well. All right, so let's keep on going down. Thrifty AV says, avoid whiteboard with marker. Not sure what that conversation is about, but I know like whiteboard videos actually do pretty good on YouTube. Let's see here. Brian G. Johnson says, it's not me, it's a robot. I actually am. I'm an alien lizard. So cat's out of the bag, I guess, now. Let's see here. Mikey and Moore says, I make videos about American Ninja Warrior, and I'm not sure if it's a big enough audience to build my channel to the size I want. Yeah, you'll have to research that and figure it out. So like, I would look at, like viewership of that. I'm not sure what American Ninja Warrior is, but I would look into the viewership of that, and I would look into like all the stuff that is built around that, and just, try to get an idea of people that are interested in that. You can also use like Google Trends to just get a general idea of, trends.google.com. Put in, like American Ninja Warrior, and that'll show you, like if the trend on that is going up or going down or whatever. Let's see here. I make videos about American Ninja. Okay, we got that one. I'm looking, Science-Based Fitness Man. I'm looking for your thing here, and I can't find it. I'm scrolling through. Oh, found it. Ding. Okay, so let's see here. On this one, says Nick, it's been a few weeks. Hope that you're well. I am well. Thank you very much. Hope that you are also doing awesome. Says, I've committed to an upload schedule on Wednesdays. Wednesday is my lowest viewed day, so I thought this makes sense to upload then. Or should I pick a different off day? So if you publish consistently on Wednesdays and you consistently get lower numbers on those Wednesdays, I would not publish on Wednesdays. And the reason for that is because if you're consistently not getting, the numbers on those days, then of course, long-term with the content, people end up finding it, things like that. But if you notice, when I publish videos on Wednesday, then those videos typically long-term don't do as well. Then in that case, then pick another day. So I wouldn't commit to the day just for the sake of committing to the day or because the numbers are low on that day. I would actually try to avoid that day if the numbers are lower on those days consistently. If you can prove that, hey, this particular day, my videos don't do as well, then in that case, I wouldn't publish on those days. So one thing that will help you with that is inside of your analytics, YouTube will show you. If you go into your YouTube studio, go into analytics, and then from analytics, you go into audience, and then hold on really quick. Let me scroll down here. I'll show you really quick. So once you're on that tab, if you're on a computer, once you're on that tab, you're going to see something that looks like this. And this is going to show you when your viewers are on YouTube. So when you see, when your viewers on YouTube, this is going to just give you an idea of what days are the best to post. Now, keep in mind, if let's say that you always posted on a Wednesday, then in that case, this graph would be catered a little bit towards your normal posting schedule because that's when you've been publishing, right? So that if you always publish on Wednesday at 9 o'clock, there's a really good chance this graph is going to have more activity around that time because that's when you normally publish anyway. So if you are seeing dips on that Wednesday, then I would not publish on that Wednesday as it means to try to make up for it, because what that's telling you is that the people that are currently interacting with your content, they're not there at that time or that day as much. So because of that, when you publish that piece of content, there's not necessarily as much of those, hardcore people on the platform at that particular point in time that might give that video the juice it needs to, to get a further reach out of the gate. Might do fine later, but I'm just talking like right out of the gate. Chili Willy Grows. Since you are a member now, you should be in there already. So I'm not sure when you did it. So basically how I let people into those is I either do it right after the streams, now that the time zones are a little bit different and I stop a little bit earlier local time, or it'll be on Monday. So if you join today, for example, you'll either go in as soon as the stream is over, or you'll go in on Monday. If you joined last week, then you should have been let in right after the stream was over last week, because that's when I let people in last week. If not, then I'll see it in there when I go this way. Just make sure, Chili Willy Grows, that you have filled out all the information, because if the information isn't filled out, those get deleted right away. Those are the first ones I delete, because a lot of people will try to get in there, but they won't fill out that information, because that information proves that you're a channel member. So because of that, you just want to make sure that that you fill out all the information on the way in. Okay. So let's see here. A new YouTube limited to buying just 2 tools to assist circumstances. I get it. It says a new YouTuber limited to buying just 2 tools to assist the effort. What are your 2 must-haves? Editing, publishing, growing tools. TubeBuddy, definitely. And in terms of editing or publishing tools, I would get like an Adobe subscription for the whole suite. That will give you Photoshop. That will allow you to make thumbnails. You're gonna have to learn how to use it, but that'll allow you to make thumbnails. That will give you Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere will allow you to edit your videos. That will give you After Effects, to where if you wanted to really take things up a notch and start doing like motion graphics, you can. You're gonna have to learn how to use it though. And that also gives you Adobe Audition, so you can process your audio also. So in terms of a video creator, the Adobe Creative Suite and TubeBuddy. If you only had 2 that you can invest into, I would invest in those 2 right now. Let's see here. That'll change in the future, I'm sure, but right now that's the recommendation. So let's see here. So next up, I'm going to jump back into the forum here really quick. This one comes from Delaza. And Delaza says they do animation, commentary, and comedy. He says, I have something, the goal of the channel is so that they can have something fun and productive to do. And the question is, hey, Nick, most of my videos are pretty comical, but I want to start making more serious content every so often. Do you think this would work and help me continuing to grow, or should I stick to comedy type videos? Experiment. So if people are coming into your channel for comedy, they're going to want comedy. Right. So from time to time, sure, if you put out something serious, for impact, then that's fine. But if people are coming to your channel for comedy, they're going to want comedy from you. So I would lean on that. But I would definitely experiment with it. If you're like, I don't want to do comedy all the time, then experiment with putting out some content that, maybe if you're on commentary or something, put out content that maybe is, just not as funny, or that you don't have to put in all of that effort in trying to make it, funny. To definitely experiment. Let's see here. Gray Mountain Farm says they got to 100 subs in a little over 3 weeks. I think that's good progress for a new channel. It's fantastic. It took me 5 months when I first started YouTube, because even though there was information, like help information out there, it was nowhere near the scale that it is now. There were like 3 YouTube help channels at the time. Really 2 that were actually focused on like YouTube help. Other things were like YouTube mixed with entrepreneurship and that kind of stuff. So like nowadays, like with all the information that you have at your disposal to learn how to do all this stuff, and the YouTube Creator Academy and all of that, you're doing fantastic. Like it took me, like I said, 5 months to get my first 150 subscribers when I first started on YouTube. So like you're doing awesome. Keep it up. Let's see here. So Brian G. Johnson said, I was going to just pull it up on screen, but now I can't see it anymore. He said something. I don't know what he said, but he said something. There it is. Oh, this is the robot again. Yep. Okay. So I got that one. That's what I get for looking at 2 different chats while I'm doing this. Let's see here. So what are your thoughts? White Farm says, what are your thoughts on working on several channels of different topics as opposed to focusing on one channel when you're small? Yeah, I would focus on one channel. And the reason I would focus on one channel is because it allows you to focus all of your attention on really getting a deep understanding for the people that you're making content for making the content for that channel, for figuring out how to get people to respond to the one. And then once you figure out how to get people to respond to the one, if you want to start another channel in the future, learning how to get people to respond to that one's going to be light years faster because of all the stuff that you learned when you're starting the one. So I would focus, like me, if I was starting over from 0, I would focus my efforts on one channel. And I would be very specific about the content I'm putting out there, who that content is for, and what I want out of the channel. If I was starting brand new from scratch, if I was like, hey, You know, I'm going to come in as the Nimminator is going to be my channel name, and nobody's going to know who I am. And I'm just going to come in. It's not going to be, you know, me on camera. I'm just going to do voice so that people don't know it's me, and I'll change the voice or whatever. Like if I was going to start something from scratch like that, then it would just be, you know, like one channel. Let's see here. Why'd I get 0 views on my videos? How many people here get 0 views on your videos? Never asked that question before. How many people here get 0 views? Like when you publish, you don't get anything. Like it's just crickets. Nope. Nope. Never mind. Yeah, I was gonna do crickets, but anyway, how many people here get 0 on their videos? Okay, so we got a few. Okay, so here's some things that you got to think about if you're getting 0 on your videos right now. One thing that you got to think about is it's really important to make sure, if you're not getting any views at all, it's really important to make sure that from the outside that it's easy for people to understand what your video is about from the outside. So a lot of times people will put like tons of stuff in their thumbnails because they'll think like, hey, if I just fill my thumbnail with a bunch of stuff, surely people will click on it. But it's better to just focus people on one thing. So what I'm going to do for one of these channels here, I'm going to put this in that said me. I'm just going to grab one here and I'm just going to pull it up, and I'm just going to, depending on what I see here, I might pull it up on screen as well. But I'm just going to show you here. Show you here what I mean. Okay. So right out of the gate, and I hope it's okay. So, so this one here is Long Nights Gaming. So first, before I pull this up on screen, Long Nights Gaming, are you okay with me pulling your channel up on screen here and just giving you some advice here on the live stream? If so, I'll do it. If you're like, I'd prefer you didn't, I'm totally cool with that. But I just want to get your permission before I just randomly pull you up here during the live stream. So when you get the chance, I'm just going to look for you in chat here. So when you get the chance, then let me know. And I don't want to put you on the spot. So if you feel like you're on the spot or whatever, you can feel free to like not even say anything. Okay. So yes. Okay. So I have the permission. Okay, cool. So, so for those of you that aren't getting views on your videos, I'm going to use this one as an example and just kind of explain some things here. So right out of the gate, I'm not even going to look at the things, you know, like channel art, things like that, because, you know, in order for any of that stuff to even matter, you know, you gotta have views coming into your channel. So the very first thing that I see when I look at this channel is I see that on these videos, you've got like a 10-hour live stream, right? So what's really important to think about here when you have a 10-hour live stream, a 2-hour live stream, a 7-hour live stream, a 3-hour live stream, a 5-hour live stream, right out of the gate, the thing that you want to think about is that you are asking for a huge commitment when it comes to people clicking on these, because this right here means that, sure, they might come in and watch, you know, for just a little bit of time, but it also means that, man, there might be 10 hours of stuff that I'm going to have to participate. And most people just don't have that. They just don't have that much time. So just by making the video that long by itself, right out of the gate, you're working against yourself. Okay. And all of your videos, with the exception of one that I see here on your homepage, are that way. If I go to your videos tab, I might see something different. Hour 28. Yeah, the closest one that you have here right up at the top is 28 minutes, which is still a huge commitment. Okay. So next one, I would consider the amount of time that you are streaming for. 2, I would make short form content now. Like I would start making shorter form content. You can still do streams if you want, but I would make those streams. I would try to make every single stream that you put out as short as you possibly can. And by short as you possibly can, I'm talking, you know, 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes max. And even within that 10 to 20 minutes, make sure that it's all engaging minutes. So you don't want loading screens. You don't want anything like that. You don't want any chill time. You want it engaging. So if anybody happens to come in while you're streaming, as soon as they come in, there's something going on. They can participate in that instead of it just being like waiting around, right? Number 2, it's super important on YouTube. In fact, it's so important that it's over 90%, or it might be at 90% of the top performing videos on YouTube use custom thumbnails. So what that means is instead of just having black thumbnails, nobody's going to click on these. So instead of just having black thumbnails, you need to learn how to make thumbnails for your videos. So if you want to start getting more views, step 1, is consider the time commitment. Step 2, start making some shorter form content, at least that you mix in. If you're like, hey, I love doing these long live streams because I just love playing the game all day, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But you need something that's going to help people come into your YouTube channel, right? Something that's not as big of a commitment, just a little like, hey, there's just a little bit of time commitment here, so you can at least click on it and give it a shot, right? So you need some short form content on here. You also need, as a number 2, you also need to make sure that you're using custom thumbnails and you learn how to make custom thumbnails. So when it comes to thumbnails, you can use placeit.net. You can use canva.com. They have templates that you can use. I think I've got a video somewhere on my YouTube channel to where it's just like a really rough, thumbnail thing. Roberto Blake has his YouTube starter kit that he sells. You can use that. If you just look for Roberto Blake YouTube starter kit, it'll pop up. It has a bunch of thumbnail templates in that. We have some at Tuber Tools as well, tubertools.com. That's my website. But the idea is you have to, like, if you're going to be a content creator for everybody, like you have to learn how to make thumbnails, and you have to learn how to make thumbnails that are effective, right? Super important. Heidi, Costume CO, so I hope you're doing great. Now, another thing you got to think about is your titles, okay? So when you're writing your titles, and I know this is going to be a lot of info, especially if you're just getting started, but like with your titles, another thing that you got to think about is, one, you don't need to put your hashtags in your titles. That's not going to be of any benefit. This isn't Instagram. So what you want to do is any hashtags that you have, you want to put those in your actual video description. You want to make sure that you limit it to 3, because I think it's over 5, I believe it is. It's either 5 or 10. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's either 5 or 10 and they don't even show them. But if you do want to use hashtags for your content, then one, you want to make sure that you are putting them in the actual descriptions. Oh, where's my mouse? There it is. You want to make sure that you're putting those hashtags down here in your descriptions instead of putting them in your actual titles themselves, okay? Because what you're doing right now is you're damaging the readability of your titles, and accessibility on YouTube is really important. That's why even though the only thing I don't do it on is the live streams, just because some of the live streams, will end up getting taken down later in the future. But for all of the video content on my YouTube channel, for every single one of them, I add captions. And the reason I add captions is because I think of accessibility, and I think, how can I make my content as easy as possible to watch and consume for anybody, regardless of the device that they're on, regardless of the language they speak, regardless of any of that stuff. Like, how can I make my content as easy as possible to consume? I think about accessibility for how people are using the platform, when they're looking at content. So because of that, in your case, like, you're not going to be able to caption these. But what I'm saying on the title side is just accessibility. So I'd remove hashtags from your titles and start thinking of how, when I write a title, what is it about this title that if this were to show up on a homepage to where somebody would say, wow, I need to go in and watch this, right? So what you would do in this situation is, if you already did the live stream or before you do the live stream, you want to be as compelling as possible. You don't want to be clickbaity where you're going to, mislead people, but you want to look at this and you want to think, okay, for the people that are interested in this particular game, what can I share with them during this live stream that I can help package this video with? So for example, I'm not familiar with what Long Night's Daily Life is, or Grizzly World. I'm not sure what any of those things are. But if you are, Long Night's gaming community is where friends meet and friendship begins. Put your links, follow, share, and subscribe to other members. Okay, this is another thing. So this part right here, the put your links, subscribe and all that stuff, like this, you're completely working against yourself here. Because if you're participating in any like sub for sub activity, and I'm not like coming down here for this, because this is a really common thing that a huge mistake that a lot of new YouTubers make. But if you're doing any type of sub for sub activity like this, you're going to work against yourself. And most importantly, when YouTube, let's say they go and they look at your channel for monetization, if they see the same description, if the person that is actually monitoring this and that's giving you that approval or telling you that, they're not going to approve you, this particular paragraph could possibly cause your entire channel to get deleted. Because what you're doing right here is you are demonstrating to YouTube that you're doing something that is against their terms of service, which is incentivizing viewers to interact with your content by basically saying that it's like a follow for follow, share for share, watch for watch type of thing. And that's against the terms of service of YouTube. So you don't want to do that. So what you want to do is you want to think about the specific game that you're playing. How can you title that video or that live stream, and how can you put a thumbnail on that live stream that's going to, one, help people know that it's that game, two, make them think, hey, I want to go and check out and see what this person's doing with this. So a really easy way to do that is if you build it around like helping people with something. So if it's a particular game, like if it's Long Nights Gaming, if that's the actual game, then in that case, it looks like Long Nights is more of a community than it is a game. So because of that, right out of the gate, you're limiting your reach on this. Instead, focus on, okay, this is the game that I'm playing. So I need to make sure that I have the name of that game in my title. But then I also need to make sure that I'm adding something compelling. And by compelling, I mean something that would make someone think, hey, I need to watch this, or I want to watch this based on what I'm seeing in the thumbnail and the title. And what you can do once the stream is over is you can go in there and you can put, if you want to, after the stream is over, you could go in there and you could put, like a highlight. Like if something epic happened in the game, then you could like screen cap that, and then you could go back and remake your thumbnail to highlight that specific thing. So when you're packaging everything up, so that you could, focus on that, that extreme part of the game that might get more clicks in that situation. But what's really important for everybody here, for all of us, not just you guys, me too. What's important for all of us is that when we publish a piece of content, we think to ourselves, okay, we're putting this thumbnail and title together. One, can the people that I'm trying to reach identify that this piece of content is for them through either the thumbnail, the title, or both? If the answer is yes, then you're doing the right thing. Then you want to think about, okay, what about this thumbnail and title would be interesting enough to the people that I'm wanting to click, or helpful enough to the people that I'm wanting to click, or would build up enough curiosity for the people that I'm wanting to get to click on this? What about this thumbnail and title is doing that? And if you can't define that, then sit there and work on it and just think it through and write down a bunch of different ideas until you can come up with, yeah, I think I think that titling it this way and having this thing in my thumbnail would be something that the people that I'm trying to reach with this particular piece of content would be something that would help them identify it's for them and be compelling enough that they would also want to click on it. Okay. So start applying some of that stuff to your channels. For those of you that are getting 0 views, and you'll start getting more views. And really, I would clip that part out. Like I would timestamp where this is at right now. I know right now it's been going for 1 hour and 54 minutes. So if you want to come back on the replay around like the 1 hour and 48 minute mark, and just watch that part again and again until it really sinks in, about, how important the packaging in terms of the topic, title, and thumbnail are for the video. And another thing in your specific case, is you also want to make sure that you're filling out your descriptions properly as well. Because right now you just have a link going to the streaming software. Like you don't want to put that in your description. That's promoting that company that you're using their service, right? You don't want to put that in your description. Instead, make your description about the viewer, right? Make your description about the content that you're putting out that's going to help the viewer know that this is what it is that you're doing in the video. It's also going to help YouTube systems identify what that piece of content is about as well. Let's see here. Okay, next up on our list, we've got Grown-Ups NPK.
Superchat.
Grownimus NPK, sorry about that, my mistake, says, hey, Nick. Hey, Grownimus. Says, thanks for all the help. I went from 0 to 1,000 subs in under 6 months. What is the optimal video length? Is it different for every channel? High five, fist bump to you for hitting that, for hitting your 1,000 subscriber milestone. I've got a graphic here that I have for that, but I'm not going to put it up here because I forgot to put it on the projector again. Okay, so optimal video length, you'll find that out on your channel. So there's been studies done that says, on average between 7 and 13 minutes is kind of like the sweet spot. However, there's plenty of channels and plenty of videos on YouTube and tons of them that have gotten amazing results that are 1 minute long or 2 minutes long, right? There's also videos on YouTube that have got outstanding results that are 3 hours long or 4 hours long. Like for example, like right here, let me show you this. So this video right here, let me switch to this camera. Nope, you can't see it with that one. Let me go here. Okay, right here. So I don't know if you can see this or not, but you see this lava lamp thing going on in the background here. So this is a video on YouTube of a lava lamp. You might look at that piece of content and you might think, you know what? Why would somebody put up a 4-hour long lava lamp piece of content onto YouTube? It's ridiculous. Nobody would ever click on that. Well, me, who likes the lava lamp type of ambience, I'll click on it and I'll leave it on for 4 hours while I'm getting ready for my live stream and while I'm live streaming and just for the vibe a little bit after the live stream as well. so long videos can also do well, depending on the purpose of that, particular, piece of content. Okay. So let's see here as we keep on rolling down the line here. Let's see. Let's keep on trucking. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hop into the forum real quick. Right after I hop into the forum, then I'm going to ask you if you have a question. So what I want you to do is while I'm hopping into the forum here to answer another question out of here really quick, while I'm doing that, please don't tell me that I closed it. Okay, I didn't. While I'm doing that, then just get your question ready and put a Q in front of your question. So that helps me identify that, hey, this is for me, and it's not like a side conversation happening in the chat. Don't drop it in there yet. I'll tell you right here in a second when I'm done answering this question to drop it into there. Yeah, this is the real answer to that question on the optimal video length. Make it as long as it needs to be. Yeah. Make it as long as it needs to be. Respect your viewers' time. If you respect your viewers' time, people will appreciate you for it. I had a comment on my last video, and that comment was, hey, you forgot your intro. Because it's like, we're like, hey, we're starting right now. And then we got right into it. And the expectation there was that the intro should have dropped. And my response was like, hey, I'm just trying to save you a few seconds, right? I'm trying to save you some time. So I'm not putting that video intro in there anymore. Let's see here. So the next question that we have is from Delaza. Did we do Delaza already? Yeah, we did. So next question that we have on our list is from Art Professor. Art Professor, they have been on YouTube for a year or more. They do daily content. They do art tutorials.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
The goal of the channel is to make art education accessible to artists who can't afford to pay for an art class. Awesome thing that you're doing right there. The question, my channel has 95,000 subscribers and we have a very dedicated audience, yet our monthly ad revenue is still fairly low. I hear all the time about channels with half the subs we have, but who are pulling in much more in monthly in revenue, and I can't figure out what we're doing wrong. So your ad revenue is based on the people that are watching your videos. They're all where they're watching from in the world. It's based on the topic of your video. It's based on the ad suitability for that video. And it's also based on the ad inventory for that video as well. So what that means is when you're putting your content out, you're going to find on your channel, you can actually go into your YouTube analytics and you can find the videos on your channel that have the highest CPMs on them. And that's going to tell you right away the videos that you can make that will drive more ad revenue to your channel. But basically different channels of different topics will get different ad revenue as well. Like for example, my channel, I'm about, YouTube help. And I also talk about tools like live streaming stuff and things like that. So typically the tool content will drive more ad revenue than the YouTube help content when it comes to ads. And if you were to take my view count and put that next to a channel of the same view count that talks about making money online, then they're probably going to double, if not more, the amount of ad revenue that they're generating just based on the topic and the amount of people that are advertising on those particular types of videos, right? So because of that, the thing that you can do is you can go into your stats, you can start looking to see which videos, and you can sort. You can literally go in there and just click it, bam. And then it'll sort by the videos that are driving you the most, that have the highest CPM. And you can, make more content that is topically similar to those if you're trying to get more ad revenue out of it. Here's something I'd recommend. You say you have 95,000 subscribers on your channel, which means that you're getting, decent amount of view counts, but the revenue is low. So one thing that I would recommend that you do is, if possible, try to work on alternate monetization as well. So I literally just put out a video. That video is more targeted towards new content creators, but it would apply to you as well. But I just put out a video about how to make money on YouTube. And I have some other videos about it as well. But if you go, I would start exploring, if possible, especially in your case, because you're doing art. So therefore, people need art supplies. I would start bringing attention to some things as an affiliate. So you can start generating affiliate revenue as well to supplement that lower amount of ad revenue. So on the art channel side, I don't know if Roberto Blake happens to be in the chat or not. I know sometimes he lurks, but he doesn't say anything. But I know, like on his channel, one of the things that he actually specializes in is helping, like artists and content creators with revenue. So because of that, I know that he networks with a lot of artists and things like that, people that do animation content, people that do, just art-based things. So I would definitely check his channel out and talk to him, reach out to him if you can, and just see if he has noticed with all the different people that he's worked with in the art world, see if he notices, any specific things that they're doing to generate more or higher ad rates for the content that they're putting out as well. Costume CO. What's up, Heidi? Hope that you are doing great. Thank you for the super chat. Says, hey, Nick, whenever I set a timer on my Google Home, she says, sure, and we're starting now, and I always think of you. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to have to get a Google Home. I didn't know they did that. Yeah, that's great. Absolutely love it. Yes, and hopefully when you're at the store and you see M&Ms, you think the same too. But thank D for that one. That one was his doing. And he is. See, Roberto Blake is here. Hey, Roberto, man, I hope you're doing awesome. Yeah, I was just talking about you, saying that so there's a channel here. Let's see here. Clara Liu, Lieu. And they're saying that they do art tutorials, and their channel has 95,000 subs, and they have a very dedicated audience, and their monthly revenue is low compared to other channels, but they weren't specific about if it was art channels or not. So I was recommending that they come over to your channel and talk to you about that, since you're interacting with tons of artists and artist channels and stuff like that. So I was sending them over your way for that. He absolutely is. He is the man. Hey, looks like we got Painfully Honest Tech in the house as well. What's up, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic today. Says, let's see here. In Between Cuisine says, I see some videos with YouTube apparel everywhere. Does YouTube pay them to do that? If so, how do you become part of that? So what you're talking about is the merch shelf, I'm guessing. And with the merch shelf, that's basically that shelf underneath the video that where content creators, when you get that feature, then you can showcase your merchandise under that. I have that on mine. I just connected my Teespring yesterday, and I just reconnected it to Spreadshop instead, because I'm going to start using them, because I have problems internationally with content that is not content, but like when I try to buy stuff from Teespring, because I am in Thailand, they don't ship here. So because of that, I have to use Spreadshirt, and I have to hit up a creator and be like, hey, I want to buy your stuff. Can you upload it to Spreadshirt for me? So because of that, I'm changing my shop on my channel over to Spreadshop as well. But that's basically a feature that is that comes with YouTube on the merch shelf for YouTube. You gotta have 10,000 subscribers for it. Let's see here. As we keep on going on, Painfully Honest Tech, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it, my man. Thank you very much for that. All right. So, and he has a message retracted. So you can just drop your message in here. And Roberto Blake switched to Spreadshop as well. Looks like Spreadshop is the new. That's what I'm talking about right there. Let's see here. So I'm hopping back into the forum here really quick. And really quick, let me take care of the super chat before I do that. And let's see here from super On the Level chat. Leadership says, thanks for all the advice. Seeing higher click and retention rates time higher, but subs still lagging. Advice, just power through. Yeah, so what you want to think about now, right? Now that you're getting more clicks, now that you're getting people watching your videos for a longer period of time, which is causing the videos to perform better, but people aren't converting into subscribers. Now you got to start uncovering that one, right? So you got to go through your videos and start figuring out the topics that typically generate more subscribers, and not just the topics, but the videos, so that you can start digging into those and try to uncover, like, what is it? Is it the things that I was talking about in that video? Is it like a power tip that I gave in that video? Is it, maybe I had a little side conversation in that video, and that side conversation made people feel awesome, and because of that, they subscribed more. But start trying to uncover that type of thing. In addition to that, just make sure that you're also working on, if you're trying to generate more subscribers, make sure that you are working on making sure that you're adding calls to action for people to subscribe. And what that means is that you're just asking people to subscribe in your videos, or that you're suggesting it in some way. So one of the ways that people do that, like in my case, is that I will have a little graphic that pops up, just to remember to subscribe. So you can do it that way, or you can verbally remind people to subscribe. And by doing that, just as a reminder, you're not, intruding on anybody. You're not being like like beggy or anything like that. You're simply reminding people. And if you make awesome content, it's even more important to remind people because they're so engaged in your content. Just a little thing that pops up or a little quick verbal reminder to remind them to subscribe to the channel can go a long way because they're immersed in the content. Oh yeah, let me hit that subscribe button because I was hoping to, but I just didn't get around to it yet. Thanks for the reminder type of thing. Yeah, no storm today, Steph. Painfully Honest Tech says, Matt asked, thinking about changing rebranding to using my real name instead of Painfully Honest Tech. How stupid would that be? Since you're already known in the Painfully Honest Tech, I think that, it's a little bit risky. But, like if you're trying to grow your personal brand instead of the Painfully Honest Tech brand, then then you got to do what you have to do in that situation. So because of that, I would just go for it anyway. Like if it was me, like, if you're ultimately wanting to build your channel to sell it, or to have other people come in and contribute content and things like that, then having like a name for it, for the brand and building up everything around that, I think there's definitely value in that. But if you're not doing that, building it as a personal brand, I think is way more powerful because then instead of you being that guy from Painfully Honest Tech, you're you, right? So it just makes the whole thing, a lot easier for people in terms of them getting to know you and always looking for you when they're looking for your content and things like that. So you just keep reinforcing that name all the time, even in conversations. So like when you go to conferences, for example, people walk up, it's not like, oh, hey, you're that Painfully Honest Tech guy, right? So then it just makes it a lot, just a lot more, personal that way. But just keep in mind, as long as the rule still stands, because things are always changing on YouTube, but as long as the rule still stands, currently you have the check mark by your name. When you change your name to your real name, then in that case, you're going to lose that check mark. So as long as that rule still stands, you're going to lose it. So I would do a little bit of research on that first to make sure that you're not going to lose that check mark if that check mark is important to you. Let's see here. I need to go up here a few for these that came in. T said what T said.
Super chat.
Just coming to thank you again, Nick. You and your awesome panelist info helped me just cross 30,000 subscribers and $5,200 a month in ad revenue. You all are great. High five and fist bump to you and a few more fist bumps to you for the milestone and for the revenue coming in. That is absolutely fantastic to see. Congratulations to you on that. $5,200 a month. So who here would love to make an extra $62,000 a year from your YouTube channel? I'm guessing it's a lot. Yeah, Jason, really quick, man. Like with the name thing, I'm a big fan of building a personal brand just because you can do anything with it. So, you can talk about tech on YouTube under your personal brand, but then on Twitter, you can talk about tech, but also do like whatever, which you would be doing anyway. But, it's just a little bit different when it's coming from a person instead of coming from like a username, right? It's just a million times more personal. Let's see here. And we've got another one here. Says, Dojo Go, Online Kids Martial Arts. Thank you for the super chat there as well. I appreciate it. Let's see here. So Mobile Freelancer says, love his commitment and motivation, commitment to help others. Very inspiring. Need more people like Nick in this world. Thank you for the kind words, Mobile Freelancer. Super appreciate it. Let's see here. As we keep on going down, there's one more that I thought that I saw in here, but I don't know where it went to. So here it is. Okay. Says, hey, Nick, I do karate lessons online. I also offered a paid subscription service. My question is how to determine how much free content to put on a YouTube versus paid. So this is a really controversial topic. Marketers will tell you don't put that much onto YouTube because you want to, keep stuff behind a paywall. You don't want to give it all away. Others will tell you that you can give away as much free as you can, like you can just give it all away for free. And it's perfectly okay because not every person that comes on your YouTube channel is going to watch all of your videos. I just put out on Twitter. I think I still have the screenshot in my phone. I just put out on Twitter. Those of you that have been watching my content for a long time, like you're going to laugh at this because you know that I repeat content sometimes. In this situation, this person, and they might even be in the chat right now, I'm not sure, but this person says, thank you for your advice. And you'll see it in this chat right here too. But it says, thank you for your advice for new YouTubers. Can you do how to get more subscribers, right? Basically saying, can I make a video on how to get more subscribers? And I've got a bunch of videos like that on my channel, right? And I don't have a course right now. I mean, technically I do, and it's done, but I just haven't, made it available yet. But when I do put that course out, people are still going to get that course, even though they're going to be able to find a lot of the stuff on YouTube, but some of the things in the course, and this is where the difference happens. On YouTube, you have to create content for the sake of getting a response, right? So because of that, you have to limit the information, or you have to make the information really snappy or something like that, so that you can keep people's attention and all that. And sometimes you have to take things out because, if you drone on about, a specific thing, or you talk about it in a different way, that people, they just don't respond to it as much. Like, that's my thing. When I go deeper on YouTube, people just don't respond to it as much. So therefore, I save that kind of stuff for the live streams. For those of you that are in here that are like, this is where the real stuff happens. But like for the videos on YouTube, like when I put those out, they're helpful, super helpful pieces of content, but I can't really do deep dives there without people abandoning the video. So because of that, when the course comes out, that content, I'm able to slow down a little bit. I'm able to really expand on the ideas that I share. I'm able to show examples. I'm able to show proof. I'm able to show, how to work through a specific tool in great detail, where if it goes up on the YouTube channel, it's not gonna fly. So because of that, like, give away, right? Just give away like your stuff, and people will love you for it, in terms of, like coming back to your channel over and over again to watch that content. And then when you put your course together, the thing with the course is that allows you to not just do it for retention, but it allows you to like really go deep with people and, communicate things and recap things and, keep referencing, ideas so that you can make sure things really sink in. And in addition to that, on your YouTube channel, when people land on your channel, like there's stuff all over the place. And even though you might organize content into playlists, they still have to dig around and find like, oh, well, that video, yeah, sure, I'm there, but I should be here. And then they got to click around and find a bunch of stuff in order to get what they want. To where in a course, you take them through an organized, structured process, right? To where it's like, you start here, by the time you're finished, you're going to know all of these things. To where on YouTube, it's like, well, you might watch this video, you might have to dig through 30 videos in order to find the thing that you really want. But if you go through this course, then you can just see through the outline, like, hey, I need to start here and go in here, right? So because of that, my personal belief is give it all away. Just give it away, share the things that you know. But for your course, do things a little bit differently, so it feels different, and so that you are, taking them through an actual learning experience, instead of learning combined with how do I keep this learning, at a pace based on what my audience retention reports tell me, so that I can keep people engaged in my videos, so that I can keep my videos getting views, so I can keep people coming into what it is that I'm doing. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's see here. As we scroll down, looks like we got a new channel member here, Panay, Swedish girl.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that next time you're on Facebook, you look for Nimminati VIP, or if you want the easy way to get there, if you just look for nimminvip.com, that will redirect you right to that Facebook sign up page. And when you hit that page, make sure that you fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you're a member on the way in. We're doing a live stream this Wednesday. We do them every Wednesday over there. So if you have time, it'll be at 9 a.m. Eastern. So if you have the time, then make sure that you are around for that as well once you get into the group. Roberto Blake says free content has the value of being free, but it's made for the culture and for the platform. It's not suited to depth, and frankly helps people who are most likely going to make it eventually. Yep. Let's see here. Paid content has structure and is made with learning being the priority. Free YouTube content is created to get views. That's the difference. Mm-hmm. Said that in a much more concise way than I did. Okay, so let's see here. So Optimistic View says, hey, Nick, can you check my content? I'm not getting views. So I pulled that one channel up just because because there was like a nice string of people that weren't getting any views on their videos. So I just wanted to just I wanted to use a channel to just kind of explain some concepts. So that's why I pulled that channel up, but I'm not pulling channels up for the reviews during the stream today. I think I'm going to start doing that over on my my other channel. So I have a channel, Nimmin Extra. And I think I'm going to start doing some of those over there. So I'm going to drop a link here. Hold on, let me type that out again. Nimmin Extra. So I'm going to drop a link here and subscribe over there, so that if I end up doing that over there, then you can come over there and we can get that party started over on that side. Let's see here. Spin Jump King
Superchat.
says, I have 2 channels. One will be for animations. One is for Roblox content. Is it bad that I'm not uploading on my Roblox channel to work on animating? My Roblox channel has 5.2 thousand. The other channel has 130. So here's the thing. When you don't upload, the only thing that works against you is if the main thing driving your channel is new content, then if you don't have that new content going out there, in terms of YouTube testing it on the platform, people clicking on it, coming in. If you don't have that new content out there, then it hurts the amount of people that are in your recent history with interacting with your channel. And because of that, when you publish new content, the likelihood of those people seeing it, or it's getting less and less. However, with that said, if you have videos that are still bringing in views and all that, and you still have videos that are driving the channel, even though you're not publishing, then you're fine because that activity is still happening. But I would get back to uploading on that channel at least, from time to time so that it doesn't, fully stagnate. You don't want to take a break for too long. Taking breaks is fine, but you don't want to take a break for too long. Like if you look at my channel, my inconsistency over the last handful of months, because I've been doing the house and all that. So my inconsistency, no excuse. I've just been lazy. That's it. No excuse. But my inconsistency on my channel has massively impacted my channel over the last few months. And it's really starting to kick in now. So I got to get my stuff together and get back on my, dedicated schedule that I used to, in order to, bring everything back up, which I'll be doing that soon. But in terms of the, taking breaks, it's fine, but just don't get too out of hand, because it can come back to get you. Dole Whip Dad, thank you for the kind words. Glad that you are enjoying the stream today. Let's see here as we keep on scrolling down the page. Hey, Roberto, I don't know if you are wanting to come in today or not, but I'm getting ready to drop the link into the group there. I think Brian G. Johnson, I'm not sure if he's still hanging out here as well or not. But Brian, you are also more than welcome to come in. But I'm getting ready to drop this for any of the crew that wants to come in. If anybody wants to come in, I'm dropping that in here right here in just a second. If not, if people are busy, if you guys are busy or whatever, totally cool. I'm just giving you the option if you want to come in. Boom. Okay. So as we keep on trucking through the list here, we've got let's see. Okay, both of them said they can pop in. Fantastic. Let's see here. Our viewers literally only watch our deportation videos. Anything else gets no views. So what that's telling you is that you need to make a lot of that type of content if that's the stuff that people are responding to, or you need to keep experimenting with additional content so that you can find, another thing that people respond to, one of the two. But that's the way it goes, right? That's the way it goes with YouTube is once they identify the stuff that, that people respond to, more importantly, who responds to it, then that's where you start, that's where when that content goes out, bam, they know exactly who to show it to because those people typically respond to it versus the other content. It's like a good and a bad at the same time. John Talks Trumpet says, any advice for small channels trying to make a deal with a sponsor that is interested in my audience? Absolutely. So if you had somebody reach out to you, then in that situation, instead of making one video, because a lot of brands will just want you to make one video. They're like, hey, how much is it for a video? Give them a price for one video. That one video would be, considerably higher. And then give them a price for a package of videos. So what you do in that situation is that package of videos, you're going to give them a discount on because they're giving you more videos, right? So they're giving you a higher amount and you're giving them a higher amount of content. So you're taking that one deal and you're essentially turning it into multiple deals or a longer term deal. So you would be surprised at how many people or how many companies when you're like, hey, I would love to do one video. However, if we do a long-term, let's say a video a month for the next 6 months or for the next 12 months, then, I can do it for this fee and that locks you into this fee. So since the trajectory of my channel right now is this, then, even as my channel grows and I get more subscribers and my average view counts grow and things like that, I've still got you locked in for the next, 6 months or a year. So by doing that, then you'll be surprised at the amount of people that will be like, yeah, let's just go ahead and do the year, or let's go ahead and do 3 months or 6 months, or, a series of 7 videos instead of one video or whatever it happens to be, but definitely get together packages for the content that you're putting out. So have a one video package but have that one substantially higher than if they were to do a long-term commitment with you. And you'll be really surprised at the amount of people that will do more. So just by offering that, you'll generate more revenue just right out of the gate by offering that, especially if people are reaching out to you. Now, another thing is, if possible, you want to, if they have an affiliate program, you want to try to work into the deal that you also get affiliate sales along with the arrangement. So what that means is, if they have an affiliate program, then they're gonna give you tracking links regardless. Most likely, they're gonna give you tracking links. So if they give you tracking links, then you want to have those tracking links also affiliate links when possible. Like in my case, it's not like a deal breaker if they don't, but I prefer that. So if it's a good deal, then it's not a big deal. But if it's like well, we're kind of right on the line with this one, then I try to maintain a affiliate link so that I can also continue to get, commissions off of that particular link, in addition to whatever it is that the sponsor agreement is. So if possible, also try to get that as well. So hopefully that helped. Let's see here. Next up on our list, we are going to Channel Ron. This is from the forum here. And Brian, I see you there, bringing you in right here in a second. So from Channel Ron says they do how-to content. The goal of the channel is just to get better. Great goal. And the question is, hey, Nick, great channel. Thank you for all that you do. My question is, I watch you and Daryl Leaves, and both of you say how important it is to stay on one subject with your content or channel. My channel is how-to and is based on problems that I have around the home. How can I possibly pick one item? You're nailing it. You are picking one item. So what you're doing is, if you have people, if your entire channel is about how to fix problems around your house, then you're targeting homeowners. You're doing the right thing. You're on the right path. Keep doing that. You're on the right path. Let's see here. So really quick, I got to do my audio settings to make sure that I don't, let's see here. Okay, that's off. And then, of course, we have to, for those of you that are here on a regular basis, you know what's about to happen. You know what's going down.
To help you stake your claim and amplify your message on YouTube, I bring you the one, the only, Brian G. Johnson.
Brian G. Johnson.
Hey, pal. What's happening? Good to be here.
What's up, my dude? How are you?
I'm doing well. Just hanging out.
Good.
New
good.
day.
Good. Love the shirt. Looking good. Love the play button as well. Hey, is that dog back there? Is that Jessica the Snow Dog's dog?
It kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I was looking. I didn't know if that was like her merch or what that was. So I wasn't sure.
I think I got that in Snowmass. And actually, we went to visit some sled dogs, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, that's what hers are, is those snow dogs.
Yeah,
snow
so
dogs.
same breed, I guess.
Nice. Roline Rica Blanca. And real quick, by the way, just in case there's anybody here that doesn't know Brian G. Johnson also, he makes YouTube help content. He does everything he can to try to help content creators get their head around this stuff so they can make awesome content and get results on YouTube. I've got a link to Brian's channel down in the description below, or you can just look for his name, which is on the screen right now, in YouTube search, and subscribe to his YouTube channel so that you can get more information there as well about Brian G. Johnson. So Rolane Ricablanca says, would you mind giving me ideas on how you do switching your camera from one to another? So absolutely, I will. So in this situation here, you'll see that I have, and I'm going to take your question down. So you'll see here that I have this switcher. This is called an ATEM Mini. This one's an ATEM Mini. This one's an ATEM Mini Pro ISO. It has 4 different camera options that I can switch between. As you can see here, if I just hit a button, right, then I can switch between those. You can see another shot of it here. And then I have the other one so that I can add additional cameras. So for example, on this other one, if I click that, then it switches to this camera, and then here it gets to that camera. So it allows me to have 5 cameras on here instead of the 4 limit. And I'm going to add more, but right now we're just sticking to 5. But it's called the ATEM Mini. If you just want to switch, the ATEM Mini is plenty. If you want to record as well, then you would need to get the ATEM Mini Pro ISO. That was fun. Always fun. So hopefully that answered that one. So, okay. So now when, we got Brian G. Johnson on the screen right now. I think Roberto is going to be coming in later as well. So this would be a great time. If you have a question about what it is that you're doing on YouTube, let's get those things going into the chat right now. Because, like these guys have tons of knowledge when it comes to YouTube. So get those questions flying, and we're just going to randomly pick them. We're going to randomly pick them out of the chat here. So this very first one is from Wessex Blades and Bushcraft. Says, how can you empower the thumbnail by guessing where the vid gets played when hovering the mouse over it? Okay, so that nobody's been able to crack that nut that I'm aware of. I think it's randomized based on high points of the video. So in terms of, people knowing exactly where that's going to happen, I don't think anybody's cracked that nut yet. Brian?
No, I don't think so either. I think you nailed it, Nick. And I think, honestly, I wouldn't get too hung up on that myself. Like, how about you, Nick? What do you think?
I agree. Getting hung up on that. I understand it I understand the question from the perspective of, hey, that could be an opportunity to show something compelling in that little preview to get people to click on it. Like, I understand the idea.
Sure.
But the thing that, like that's out of our control, for right now. So I wouldn't focus on that. I would focus on, your title and thumbnail from the outside, because topic, title, and thumbnail, because those are the things now that you do have control of that will be able to, to actually win a click.
Bam.
Bam. Let's see here. Tim Wolf says, I think that you're addicted to new cameras like I'm addicted to new guitar gear as a musician. Let me tell you something about camera addiction. I think, Brian G. Johnson, you're being paged. So you want to talk about camera and gear addiction, Mr. Johnson?
Yeah. It matters. The gear you use matters. But the thing to think about is this. Do you know how to pull it off? Like, how many of you are like, oh, that multiple camera stuff looks pretty cool. And then you see Nick's setup and you're like, oh my gosh, it's intimidating, right? And like, for me, I really enjoy like fancy cameras and lenses. Like, I know why to film with an 85 millimeter. And this is actually, this question, Nick, is interesting because I want to tell this story. So I was really excited to get this new full frame camera, super slow motion, incredible picture. And I started moving into this to do this. And I bought it and I started watching videos about what kind of lenses to buy. I watched a video from Peter McKinnon, and he talked about a really great B-roll lens was an 85 millimeter. So I bought an 85 millimeter lens from Sony. It wasn't top of the line, but was pretty good. And the first or second time I used it, and like the first time was literally a few seconds, and then I think I used it again an hour later, I captured some of the most absolutely beautiful slow motion snow shots. And it's just the first time I used the lens. But here's the thing. I had been learning about cameras, lenses, white balance, ISO. I've been learning about aperture, framing. And furthermore, I've got an eye to how to really create something that is visually pleasing. In fact, I can't help it. You might have seen me a few minutes ago moving stuff around because I wanted to frame up the shot. So gear does matter, and we can get addicted to it, but it's really, really important to focus on the story that you tell and focus on your ability to make that a reality with whatever you got right now. You can learn the same stuff I talked about with camera settings and lens and focal distance. You can learn that same stuff on the phone. And then when you do upgrade to a camera, you're going to have more skills and abilities. And I think a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on the gear alone, and they don't go towards the actual technique. In fact, I know that to be true because if you look at the views for a new lens that comes out versus how to shoot with, say, a 14 millimeter lens, night and day. So some thoughts on gear and whatnot.
So Paul Peck, thank you for that, Brian. Paul Peck says that he's noticed that if he does a screen grab from the video for a thumbnail, the short hover autoplay starts at the screen grab section of the video. Interesting. Super interesting. So that'll be something to play with. Thank you for that, Paul. Appreciate it, man. So really quick, we got a channel member here, Gronimus NPK. Oops, sorry. Hold on. Switch. Hold on. Wait, everything's broken. There we go.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that next time you're on Facebook, actually, you know what? Skip that. Just go to nimminvip.com. It'll redirect to the Facebook group. Fill out all the stuff on the way in, because that's how I verify that you're a member when I'm adding people to the group. So I will see you in there. Let's see here. Okay, so the next question that we have, Brian, and this one's right up your alley, says, how do you properly use keywords, or basically, how do you pop up in people's recommendations with tags and words in your title? Only 3 videos have worked for me.
So the thing to think about is your goal, if you're getting started on YouTube and you want the fast way to grow, which we all do, is to listen, not the keywords so much, they're part of this, but really the goal is to reduce the competition. And the competition is extraordinary. How many videos you compete against, no matter what subject you cover, is a lot. But there are a number of things you can do, mainly really understanding keyword phrases. So here's the thing. You can leverage TubeBuddy. You can install TubeBuddy for free. And then when you look at a keyword phrase, you can see how many competing videos. In fact, check this out. I happen to have this because I happen to teach this stuff all day long. Let me see if I can go to, come on. Why can't I drag this? Hello. There we go. Let me show my screen here for a minute.
Okay.
And we'll go here. And then we'll go here. So if you look at this right now, this image, this is from TubeBuddy. And here's what most people do, right? Number one is they don't even really think about looking at this kind of a thing. Now, this is the overall score for this particular keyword phrase, iMovie editing on an iPhone 2021. And it's very good. But
hey,
the
Brian,
real
really
thing to think about, like I just said, what we want to do is reduce the competition. And the best way to do that is to look at the score analysis. In fact, right here, the number 2 heading is competition. And here you'll notice it says excellent. And the amount of videos for this keyword phrase is 615,000, which is a lot. But if we look at another, let's see what this one is here. Like maybe this one is, this has 2.3 million video results, and it's just iMovie editing on an iPhone. So in this example, I just showed you 2 keyword phrases that begin with the same 4 words, iMovie editing on an iPhone. 4 words. Now we go 5 words, iMovie editing on an iPhone, and there are less competing videos. So the thing you can do moving forward, and let's stop sharing my screen. The thing you can do is really to install TubeBuddy and just pay attention to that competition score and the number of videos in search results. And the thing you want to do is just reduce that, and also know this, and this is the important part. That doesn't mean you're going to get the views. The thing to focus on is how engaged the viewers are. Watch time is last year. We don't talk about watch time anymore. We talk about engagement overall, because watch time is an engagement signal. How often they click on your thumbnail is an engagement signal. Did they click an end screen element? Did you know you can add a screen at the end of your video to another video of yours? If viewers click that, that's a really strong signal to YouTube that the viewers loved your video. So the lower the competition, the less you have to compete against these other videos, and the more likely you'll be able to drive views.
And one of the things that YouTube tells us along that, in regards to what Brian's talking about, for that last section, is it's important to make sure that people are responding to what it is that you're doing. So this screenshot is taken directly out of the YouTube Creator Academy. This is the thing that I'm always, making sure that I tell people that they need to be going through. It's free and provided by YouTube. But they say that suggested videos are ranked to maximize engagement for the viewer, which is what Brian was just talking about. Signals that contribute to these recommendations include, hold on, let me get the right thing clicking here. Videos that viewers watch along with the current video, or videos that are topically related. So topically related, what does that mean? So let's say that you put out a video about, Fortnite, or let's say you put out a video about, making cakes, right? Then in that situation, the likelihood, if you optimize that video correctly in terms of the metadata, all the stuff that Brian was talking about with your keywords and all of that, then the likelihood of that video, YouTube detecting that that video is about making cakes, because the topic of your video is about making cakes, and the likelihood of you showing up next to other videos about making cakes is going to be higher. The likelihood of it showing up is going to be higher because the topic of the video is similar. Now, the part that really starts making the difference is Let me click on this again here. Another thing also is the videos in the past watch history. And what that means is if a viewer is watching a bunch of videos about making cakes, then the likelihood of them seeing your video about cakes is also going to increase. But one of the things that they tell us is that it's really important, because of that videos that people typically watch together thing, that it's really important to make strong calls to action for viewers to watch one of your videos, which is one of the things that we've been telling people forever. Use playlists, links, cards, and end screens to suggest the next video, which we've been telling people forever. Develop a series of videos that are organically connected into series. They don't say series here, but as a series of videos, and you can put those in a series playlist to kind of superpower that, and then make videos around popular formats such as challenges of lists on YouTube for coming up more in suggested. So the idea there is basically, you got to make content that people are responding to, but you also have to make sure that the content that you're putting out, that you are optimizing it in ways like Brian was talking about, to where their system can easily understand what it is that your content is about, so that they can know the right places to put it and the right people to put it to, or put it in front of. But you still, even when they do that, you got to get people to click on it, and they have to enjoy that video for at least a competitive amount of time compared to the other options that they have. Next, I heard if you promote your YouTube channel on Facebook, that the platform won't push your feed because Facebook wants users to stay on their platform. Is that true? Every platform wants users to stay on the platform. It's against the business model, with the exception of Reddit. It's against the business, and even on Reddit, people stay on the platform like a ton. You just open stuff up and then you end up going right back into Reddit. But every platform, the goal is to keep people on that platform, because that's where everything for that company, that's where the wins happen for them. So the goal of everywhere is to keep people on the platform. So absolutely, when you do publish a YouTube link directly in a post on YouTube, people have reported that those definitely get limited. So I would just focus on instead of trying to share content for the sake of, like in a group, for the sake of just like a small amount of views, think bigger picture and think, okay, how can I make content that people are really going to love on YouTube, so that YouTube will do the heavy lifting for me, so I don't have to go around and share content all over the place, right? So that viewers will do it because they love the content, and so that YouTube will identify that people are clicking on this enough and that they're watching it and engaging with it enough in order to have their system say, this is a great piece of content. Who else do we think, or who else does the system think would enjoy that content? That's what it is that you're ultimately trying to accomplish. Would you agree with that, Mr. Johnson?
100%. Make good content, and that's oversimplified, but truly that's where it begins. And the thing to think about is what matters to the viewers. When you focus and you're like, well, I need to value what viewers value, then you'll focus on the most important things. So that's topics and titles and how long people watch and so on.
Boom. All right. Oh, this is interesting. So Annie TikTok says, the minute I stopped sharing my videos on Facebook and Reddit is the minute I saw huge growth on my channel. So I'd say there's truth to that. Same thing happened to me, just as a heads up. And I've actually had one other case where that's happened as well. Timothy N says, I haven't started my channel yet, but I have 6 videos ready. Would it be a bad idea to upload them at the same time? Bad because of cannibalism. I plan to upload 1 video a week after that. What are your thoughts, Brian G. Johnson? So
yeah, I would just say
6 videos in the can. What would you do in that situation?
I would get on with it. I would release a video immediately. And if you want to do 1 a week, great. Or do 1 every 3 or 4 days, great. Honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal, as long as you don't release them all at the same time. Don't do that and move forward, and you'll be golden.
There we go. Let's see here. Next up on our list, and make sure if you have a question, put a Q in front of the question. That helps us identify that the question's for us. Because if we don't see that Q, then it might be like a side conversation that's happening in the chat. So it just makes it easier on our end to know that it's a question. So D Glitch K says, why are every big YouTube channel making short channels like Mr. Beast, where it's a collection of short clips from their videos? Because YouTube introduced the short shelf, where it's kind of like a TikTok or a Instagram Reels competitor, and they are trying to leverage, those assets on YouTube as well. So they're creating new channels, and they are strictly only uploading shorts content for those, so that they can grow shorts channels as well as their long form channels. Any additional thoughts there?
Nope.
Do live videos that are sorted or stored as unlisted and or private subtract from your video hours towards the 4K? Yes. Yeah. So basically on YouTube, you have public views and public watch time and all of that. So basically anything that's public, then you get credited for that towards your partner program goals that you're trying to reach. As soon as you make something unlisted or private, then it subtracts those, and you'll see your meters pull back for the things that you've taken down. The Luby Library says, do you suggest new YouTubers
Superchat.
Do you suggest new YouTubers take editing classes? Yeah, I do. Maybe like I would do it through like courses or classes, or just going through YouTube channels. Like, hey, find a YouTube content creator that makes editing content. I know Vigard's in here. He does it. I know Aston Regis has editing content. I know there's also channels like Premiere Gal. There's also, I always forget his name, the Logan Paul's editor. He also has a YouTube channel as well, where he basically digs deep into how they edit their videos and the psychology behind their video editing process. But you want to look him up as well. If you just look for Logan Paul's editor, you'll find it. But basically you want to go through all of that so that you can improve your skills. Like when it comes to editing classes or anything that you can do to improve your skill sets on YouTube, I am like 1,000,000% behind doing those things, because when you are increasing your skill sets, you're increasing your potential here.
And editing too, like editing gives you the ability, check this out, like you have an okay video, a great editor can take an okay video and make it pretty good. A great editor can take a good video and make it amazing. Like, it is unbelievable what you can do, because we live in make-believe land. You can, like, it's funny. Nick, I'm working on a video about video editing, and I'm kind of sharing some new stuff that I keep learning. And one of the things was how to continually use motion in small little clips to create a montage. And you want to use the same motion on every single little clip with the same speed, so it's continuous and it's seamless for the viewer. If you have stuff like this and that versus always zooming in on a clip. So it's just, and furthermore, it adds so much art and personality to a video. So absolutely lean into editing.
Really quick.
Welcome
Create with Dre.
to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that you go to nimminvip.com. That will redirect you to the Facebook group. When you are there, make sure that you fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a channel member on the way in. So if you don't have that filled out, then it gets deleted right away. So just make sure that you fill that out, because during these streams, a lot of people will go over there and actually try to get in. Let's see here. Next up on the list, would you suggest going back to old videos and changing titles, thumbnails, and descriptions? I had no clue about YouTube when I first started uploading 6 years ago. Thank you for all that you do. Brian G. Johnson, what are your thoughts?
Listen, the success you desire will be found in your next video. Does that mean you should not go back and tweak things? No. But it means if you start delaying your focus on creating a better video because you're trying to go back and take stuff you've done in the past, I guarantee you will not reach the level you want. Now, a lot of people will tell you I tweaked some stuff and reached a new level. But if you really want to be at a high level, you have to continually try to figure out how to improve. And here's the thing. I see a lot of people asking this question, and they're just not where they need to be. And when you're looking back, how can you go forward to where you need to be? So sure, spend a few hours, go back, make some changes. That's smart. But always focus the majority of your energy, your effort, and your time on figuring out the weakest link of your video. I just talked about video editing, lighting, camera settings. For example, I'm live streaming on a Sony ZV-1. And I haven't really played with this camera in a while. And I had the Nick, check this out, Nick. I had the exposure. Exposure compensation was set to -1, which means I was telling my camera to make the image one stop darker than it should be. And it's just, I kind of, and I'm like, oh, look at that. That's ridiculous, and it took me a little while because I hadn't focused or I hadn't fiddled with this camera in a while. But like when you learn these things, you can improve, and you have to be on that path or you'll never really get to high level superstar status, rock star status, achieved proceed to world tour.
I love Brian G. Johnson. Okay, so Power Up says, how important is it for video to be uploaded every week at exactly the same time? Would it matter if you were a day late every now and then? No, it's fine. But what you do want to do is you want to try to be as consistent as you can. It is very advantageous to be consistent, but a great video is going to be a great video regardless. So if you are a little bit late on an upload, it's fine. If you have to spend a little bit of extra time making that video a little bit more awesome so that, you can really, just make it how it needs to be, then in that case, that's fine as well. But if you can hit that mark and you're as consistent, if you're rigidly consistent, then there is advantages to that. But at the end of the day, if you do need to move something around or you have to miss an upload sometimes or something like that, your channel's not going to, it's not going to be like, oh no, everything is over now because I missed an upload. It doesn't work that way. But the more consistent you can be, the better off you're going to be, because that's when, all of the people that are interacting with your channel that like to come in and watch your content on a regular basis, it's going to be hitting them at those times where they're on the platform and all that good stuff. So because of that, just being as consistent as you possibly can, it's a good practice to make sure that you are consistent. Dottie the Psychic,
Super chat.
thank you for the super sticker. It is appreciated. All right, next up, make sure you put a Q in front of your question if you have a question, and we will pull it up here and get it. Says, let's see here. The Thrift Exchange says your video looks more crisp than Brian's right now. Can you two comment on the difference between your setups? Absolutely. He's on a ZV-1 that has the built-in lens, right?
Yeah, it's a fixed lens camera.
Yeah, so he's on the ZV-1, which is a fixed lens camera. This one has a different setup on it. It has a different lens. It's just the lens itself is a little bit more crisp on my camera, and that's really probably all it is. In addition to that, like I'm broadcasting this through my system, and then he's coming in and joining. So this is all like mixed on the cloud. So I'm not sure how that works, if that would impact it in any way, or if it's just the lenses by itself. I'm not sure.
It could also be like I haven't really spent a lot of time with this camera lately because I just moved and I've been setting up my home and unboxing and furniture. And I'm just getting to the point now where I'm like uploading regularly and creating videos, and I'm live streaming, and I'm kind of playing around with this camera setup. I could have like the sharpness a little bit lower on the camera settings. So that's something I could increase. And again, this is why, it's really important to really try to identify what can I improve. And the other thing, and this is the most important, I think, is you have to know what truly matters to the viewers. Like, here's the thing. I don't think, like, Nick's camera quality is really good. It looks great. But mine probably looks good. Like, I can tell you right now, it's pretty darn good. I had concurrent 150 viewers on a live stream last night, and not one person said your camera quality looks like trash. So it's really important to understand this is the weakest part about what I'm doing right now on YouTube with my videos, my delivery, my keywords, my topics, my thumbnails, my editing style. Is my audio good enough? And then focusing on that. When I started, me and Nick did a collab and my audio was horrible, but you know what? I fixed it. And I asked Nick a while later, like 2 years later, I'm like, why didn't you get on my case about that? He said, you were already there. You were doing all you could. You were always improving. And it's like, that's where you were at the time. So I think it's really important, but it's also important to find some sort of balance.
I agree. Hey, Brian, how do you add more value to a video? What is value?
So it's really funny. I made this new presentation, and it's based on, if you follow a 3-step workflow, the light and nothing. And here's the thing. You want to know why Nick does so well? His delivery is incredible. He's like your best pal.
I'm like super handsome.
And incredibly good looking.
And humble.
Male YouTube model.
and humble.
No, that's not it. It's not about looks.
Smart and very humble.
The thing about Nick is that, Nick, your delivery is really accessible. You share the information. You don't get in people's face. You make it easy for them to hang out. And you are humble. Like, the fact that you have almost 800,000 subscribers hasn't gone to your head in a too much of a way. And I think the more that we really honor and try to be ourselves, our authentic selves on camera, the more likely it's easy for people to watch. That's why cringy is the word, because when someone's cringy, they're probably a little uncomfortable or trying to be something that they're not. And when you can just be yourself, things get pretty exciting and magical. Remember, Nick, when I told you, yeah, that you're there. And then what happened? What happened after that?
Yeah, things started going great.
Yeah, you blew up. Practice your delivery.
So Carol says, Nick, how do you advertise your content? I don't advertise my content. So back in the day, when I was first starting my YouTube channel, I was first getting started with this, the practice that I would do at that time, because I didn't have an audience, like I didn't have, like YouTube didn't have much data on my channel. So what I did, once I understood that that was important, is I went and I figured out online, like where all the people that I was trying to reach were hanging out. And then I would go there and I would add value to all those different groups. At the time, it was Google Plus. It was a group, a video marketing group on Facebook and a handful of other places. And I would go there and I would share my videos, but I wouldn't just drop a link and be like, see ya. I was active in those groups all the time. And when I would share something, people would already know me in that group, and I would build a whole big like thing around it. Like, hey, I made this video because blah, blah, and there's some people in this group that was looking for da, 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 da. And I would just build this whole thing around that video. And then I would share it there at that time. In addition to those shares, I would also, I don't know if it's still there or not, but on the bottom of videos, you used to be able to also create a blogger post, which is also, which was a thing. And so I would also go and I would create a blog post for videos at that time as well. So basically I would go through and I'd click all the little things down in the bottom underneath the video at the time. This is back in the day. I would click all those things and I would do something on all of those things. I would have a post going out on Tumblr. I would have a post going out on Blogger, where I would actually write an actual blog post and have the video embedded in there. Of course, I was getting traffic from YouTube itself as well, a little bit from search, but I was basically just sharing in that way. I was doing all of the things that at that time I was like, hey, for every blog post that I create, because I'm very big about trying to create as many advantages as I possibly can, even if they're small. So one of the approaches that I was taking at that time was, I'm going to take the time and I'm going to create this blog post for this particular video, because one, I just click a button and it opens it up into that Blogger account. And then I would make that post, because my thought at the time was, if I make this post, then there's a chance that this post might show up in Google, which then I might be able to bring in some traffic from that as well. So at that time, I was doing all of those things because I had the time to do them. So then once people started responding to my content on YouTube, because I was making better content, then YouTube started doing everything for me to where I didn't have to start going out and doing all of those things all the time. And that's ultimately what you want to get to, because like you can share your content all day, but if you're not sharing it in front of the right people, you can actually mess things up a little bit. But when you are making good content for YouTube and you're really focused on making sure that like your thumbnail and titles, that you're making things clear for what people are going to get and that you're being compelling with what it is that you're doing, and you're putting together content and you learn to put together content that people enjoy, like you're not going to be able to do anything that's going to promote your content more than making awesome content. Because when you make awesome content, YouTube identifies that people enjoy it. They identify that people are clicking on it a lot, and that when they do click on it, they don't abandon the video. That's exactly what YouTube wants. And when you help YouTube get what it is that they want, then they're going to show your content to even more people, because you're not making them leave the platform. You're not making them, close out your videos as soon as they get there. You're keeping people coming back to your channel because they're subscribing to it, and then they're, responding when you publish new content, that sort of thing. So you're giving them exactly what it is that they want. And when you do that, they're going to show your content to more people on the platform, which is ultimately what you want. Right?
Yeah, which goes back to focus on what viewers value, which is a great topic and a great video delivery and how you communicate and tell the story and edit. And when you focus on those things, you reach, here's what happens is that, and think of it in this way. The reason YouTubers fail is because there are a few things that are just not good enough. Like I saw a comment by Nerdy Mad, and he says, I swear to God, my videos are one of the best out there. I still get only 10 views. You know what? Like when I make something, I really get attached to it. I'm excited to see what I made. It came out of my brain, and then it's something physical in the world, and I can watch it and appreciate it. But it doesn't matter what I think. It matters how many people really engage. So the reason people fail is that there is something that's just not high enough level. Like we all know audio matters. The audio is really bad. That's going to stop viewers from really engaging further, and they're going to click off. So the thing to think about is the sooner you focus on the most important things that the viewers value, the more likely you can improve those. at a point, and you over time, when you constantly do this, you get to a point where it clicks, and all of a sudden you go from 500 subscribers a month to 5,000.
Truth. Hey, we got Unseen Thailand and Chiang Mai in the house. What's up? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Because it seems like YouTube is off and on sometimes. Yeah, I don't know if you mean like with the buffering. I saw some people talking about the buffering in the chat, so I'm not sure what happened in that situation. Let's hear really quick. Wolf Shadow says, one thing I was taught, a business starts when a question has been answered. So if a creator answers a question, then it's going to grow. When it comes to comedy or entertainment, just make people, I'm not sure if that was going to say like laugh or something like that. But yeah, like when you're doing any type of like help content, that's kind of like a low hanging fruit in terms of like getting your foot in the door. Cause it's, you know, you can show up and search for that kind of stuff. And you're literally just helping people do stuff, and people find value in that and they subscribe because of it. But if you're doing like entertainment content, then things are a little bit different. Like you provide value, you provide entertainment and, you know, laughter and all that good stuff. But when you are doing that type of content, you know, it's a little bit different than if you're doing how to content. You got to be really compelling. You have to really put tons of effort into your titles and your thumbnails, because without that, you're pretty much like, you know, toast in the water if you can't be compelling with your thumbnail and title. And of course, people got to enjoy the videos. Let's see here. How do you make let's see here. If you have a question, make sure you put a Q in front of it. I'm sitting here like looking through them. Here we go. Can you guys talk more about closed captioning? Is it true that closed captioning have to start exactly where the voice starts? So that's it's great that you're asking this question, but, and I'm going to assume that Brian probably has the same thoughts here. So feel free to jump in if I'm wrong, Brian, but, when it comes to things like this, like the little minor details, it's great that you're asking the question. However, please don't focus on stuff like this. Things like, you know, hey, does it have to be exactly where the voice starts, right? Like that's such an irrelevant thing in terms of video performance. And also little things like, you know, there's a lot of questions going around all over the internet about, you know, hey, my view count is different inside of my creator studio than it is on the outside. It's different in the app than it is in the creator studio. Like what's going on? And people will spend a day trying to figure out like what's broken. Why isn't that where they could have spent that entire day working on that next, you know, Brian's thing, you know, make another video, right? Publish another video, successes in your next video. Instead of spending that day making another piece of content or learning what their audience, you know, responds to through digging into their stats, they spend and waste that entire day on something that's insignificant to actually growing the channel, when those people are wanting nothing more than to grow that YouTube channel, but they're focused on the wrong things. So please make sure that you don't get caught up in those things. It's great to ask those questions, but please don't spend a lot of times in things like that, because you put yourself in the weeds, and that's all of those things like that. They're not going to do anything for you. The things that are actually going to matter for you are learning how to make content that people enjoy. And you learn how to make content people enjoy by digging into your stats and learning how to interpret what it is that you see in your analytics. And they make it really easy for the basic, most important things like audience retention.
Bam. And you know what's sad? And check this out. Like the reality of YouTube growth is this, that so many creators never get out of that. It is a bottomless pit of things you can focus on. You get trapped and you never come out because there's so much information out there. But check this out. If you stop and you think about the most successful YouTube creators, like Casey Neistat doesn't even create a description or tags. He barely adds a title. A title's really important. I talk about titles. Nick talks about titles. The sooner you let go of molehills and the sooner you start focusing on the mountains that matter to the viewers, the sooner you can get what you really want.
Boom. Boom. Oh, no, I thought
was that a record scratch?
Yep. Yeah, I thought I had something in there. That's supposed to be my like going to the next question sound effect.
Oh, it sounds like a record scratch.
It is.
I wrote a rap this morning. It was pretty dope. Yeah, it started off with all the cool kids are in the house. I be creeping like a mouse. And then it was, what was it, Doug? Doug said it sounded like a new song. I'm living on the streets, dreaming about them YouTube feats. Nice. And then that was it. You know how this goes. I'm like, okay, Nick, finish it. I'll be around. Just let me know when I need to put on my sunglasses.
And later, like, all right, dude, here's a beat. Here's like the next, here's like the verses and the hook for this. Yeah. All right, everybody. So, so really quick, I just want to say, first off, Brian G, thank you for hopping on today. Much appreciated, my man, coming on here and sharing some Brian G knowledge here on the stream today. Mucho appreciate it. And for everybody watching, during this live stream, there's a lot of information, that comes out, a lot of, a lot of advice that gets shared and things like that. I encourage you, especially if you're just getting started, some of this might, sound overwhelming sometimes. So I encourage you, like, next time you come to the stream, bring a notepad. In addition to that, try to focus on like a thing or two, because it's really easy to try to do all the things, but not really effectively do much. So because of that, like, focus on a thing or two and like get good at that particular thing, or understand that thing a little bit better if you're new, and then move on to the next thing so that you can make that progress instead of getting stuck by overwhelm. And then next week, when we are here and we're doing the same exact thing, then you can come in, learn something else, and be like, okay, hey, this week I'm going to work on that. And then you can kind of build as we go. Okay. So on that note, thank you everybody for hanging out today. Mods, thank you for holding it down. And I hope everybody has an awesome week. We will be here next week at the same time, same place, 9 a.m. Eastern. And we will see you then. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for watching Nimmin Live. Remember to check out our sport.